prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock. Friday night, gotta rest, in the morning, hit the block. Shake 'em down, we go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock. Hey, I'm a workaholic, boy, don't play with me. Hey, no breaks, do this till the death of me. I'm with Elohim, careful what you say to me. Better watch your tongue. We been the chosen ones, I heard you claim to be. Yeah. What do you got, hey, what do you got? What do you got, cause talk is cheap. What do you got, you see me say? Yeah, we got that remedy. What do you got, hey, what do you got? Heard you got that cure for me. What do you got, cause I need help? What do you got, cause talk is cheap? So I dedicate to do this every week, yeah. We not moving corners, so they thinking that we weak, yeah. Never get it twisted, ayy, don't sleep. We the sanctified, we pull up to your hood to clean the sheet, yeah. And I'm blessed, Wolfie on the crest, yeah. All I do is raving, praying for the rest. To the east, from the west, on a quest, never rest. About that work, dog, about it, I'm obsessed, yeah. Sabbath morning, rise and shine, hit the block, make it hot, shake 'em down, we go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock. Friday night, gotta rest, in the morning, hit the block, shake 'em down, we go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock.
Hit the block, make it hot, they be shocked, that's a wop. Watch a doctor, head chop, body drop, get the mop. This a jam, this a bop, for the flock, top of top. How much love, that's a lot, on the quest, not a yacht. Got a Glock, it don't pop, that's a prop. Nigga stop, ain't no fear in the mirror, check your spirit watch. We just pick a corner, we any money more. From here to California, we pull up at Issachar on the corner. Kamikaze sliding like conveyor bells. If you try to play the prophet, you gon' play yourself. Saturday to day, we on the way with hell. Big soldier, we take orders like okay, what else? Check the stats, all facts, never cap. We be everywhere we at, on the map, in the trap. Me and Ja, back to back, boots black, script strap. Listens with that, this and that. Friday night, take a nap. We wake up, it's a wrap.
Sabbath morning, rise and shine, hit the block, make it hot, shake 'em down. We go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock. Friday night, gotta rest, in the morning, hit the block, shake 'em down, we go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock. Sabbath morning, rise and shine, hit the block, make it hot, shake 'em down, we go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock. Friday night, gotta rest, in the morning, hit the block, shake 'em down, we go at it till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Warfare, got my gear, I'm prepared for the op. And we talking how we walk it, yeah, that's just how we rock.
We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Got God's in the building. We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got God's in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Don't care about you.
With scriptures we shake and bake. March around Babylon, make it quick. Our people, they see us, we make them say. The gods I come back to come say that they make them pay. That's what the Bible say. G is for greatest, O is for overkill. D is for dominate. F for superior, yeah, but we winning still. You heathens, you making me mad. So I'ma go out and prophesy. Esau wanna be us so bad. Your DNA full of lies. The stealers, the branders, the sellers, the killers. You teaching your offspring not to be with us. Today is new day. I can read. My God and my Bible resembling me.
We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Got gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Don't care about you.
See, I ain't new to this. Border of blue with French that jewelry. From Pompeii to Julius. Slave markets full, hot niggas love coonery. Bringing you down like denominators. You gon' get dealt with, cannot escape. The corner of your block be annihilated. The world is ours, the kingdom waiting. The money you chasing, the car that you're driving, the cars you applauding can't profit you nothing. God's in the building, the reason you hiding, the lies that you're teaching cannot save nobody. Why won't we all just love? Why won't we all just hug? Now where was that shit when we was all in boats, coast to coast, hating our brothers the most?
We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Got gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Don't care about your. My people visual. I guess they lost all their vision though. What's the residual? We got nothing back, we ain't stick to the principle. Don't let them riddle you. We do it big and they do it minuscule. They placing a hit on you. They finding ways to try to get rid of you. Eat and behave. Stop finding out ways to put us in graves. I am too grave. Obadiah, yeah, let's turn to the page. Read it and weep. Bunch of dead bodies out on the street. Who's that just came out of Basra? He came out of nowhere just like a thief. We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Got gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Don't care about your.
We got the guys in the building, got the solutions to stop all the killings. We go to the sick and we give them the healing. We very heroic but labeled as villains, the guys in the building. Better yet, we on the block with the killers and the thieves. Get your thesis, rip the pieces. As we move the minds up, our people know telekinesis. We young and Shemitic, you might not get it. The blood of the prophets is in our genetics. Our enemies look so pathetic. Pull a script on apologists and make them look so apologetic. Oh, clap our hands, shout unto God with voices of triumph. Give praise to the King, the God of our God, the leader and ruler of Zion. Guys in the building.
We got the gods in the building. We
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions, press 2.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
in the building, got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Got gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Don't care about your. We got the gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We got the gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings.
Hey, real talk though.
Yeah.
Have you meditated on what's gonna happen if we endure into the end? We are literally just gonna vanish and be gone in chariots.
Hocus pocus, them boys, where they with at? Took them up in the sky, how they do that? Disappeared in my eyes, where they with at? If you sit there, you know you can't get in. Hocus pocus, them boys, where they with at? Took them up in the sky, how they do that? Disappeared in my eyes, where they with at? If you sit there, you know you can't get in.
I got it, I tell my people not to quit. We the real Jews and them mothers counterfeits. Prophecy fitters like fresh outfits. Looking up and ready for that last trumpet. See the fire red zeal in his eyes and his prophets. Chairs coming down, your army can't even stop it. Whirlwind have you spinning around feeling nauseous. Chucking up the deuces in the air like pathogens. Mad cause they watching us. Face all red cause they losing all they oxygen. Big black angels at the gate steady stopping them. The kingdom is not for them. The Lord ain't die for them. Why you even cry for them?
Hocus pocus, the wicked in a daydream. They painted their likeness, dropped the smoke screen. I ate the little book, it gave me protein. I'm walking with giants, yeah, you never seen. Hocus pocus, them boys, where they with at? Took them up in the sky, how they do that?
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3,
if you sit there,
2,
you know you
1.
Power hour. It's the what? Power hour. It's the who? Power hour. Yeah, yeah. Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives. Power hour. It's the what? Power hour. It's the who? Power hour. Yeah, yeah. Blacks, Hispanics, and
Every Saturday morning you need to be tuning in. Wake up, get crust out your eyes. We about to go live, so come get the schooling in. About our oppression, we answer the questions like how do we get out this lower state? We let the scripts prophesy. We bringing the Bible to life so that you relate. The world thinks we're rejects, but that word we reject. Watch and we'll show you precept upon precept. Line upon line, the scripts say we're the greatest, and they can't debate it. Salvation is only for the blacks, Hispanics, and natives.
Power hour. It's the what? Power hour. It's the who? Power hour. Yeah, yeah. Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives. Power hour. It's the what? Power hour. It's the who? Power hour. Yeah, yeah. Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives. Power hour. It's the what? Power hour. It's the who? Power hour. Yeah, yeah. Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives. Power hour. It's the what? Power hour. It's the who? Power hour. Yeah, yeah. Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives.
Shalom, shalom. Welcome to the Power Hour Plus edition. I'm Captain Yashua.
Shalom, welcome, Captain Aparium.
Shalom, Most High in Christ. Bless, Captain Amariah.
We are back. Back live in the lab.
Back alive.
Yeah, well,
Not
we
just
had
live,
we
but
had
alive.
new moon right last week, so no show, right? No moon. And week before that, we had some issues come up, but we still got you a couple pre-recorded shows.
A throwback.
Hey, I think those were very good episodes.
It was an oldie but goodie.
Right. Those both of them were pretty good. I think everybody was dropping bombs on them too, so it was pretty good. Whenever commitments or whatever allow us not to necessarily go live, we will make sure that we throw up some pre-recorded.
Good.
Just the timing with the holidays and all that. I was a little disappointed because I feel like we're picking up a lot of momentum, and we'll see. We'll see if the people get re-engaged tonight.
Well, with everything going on, man, they must. It's a must.
Whoops, sorry, I should have muted that.
Ooh.
It's a must, man.
Right.
Too much going on, man.
Yeah.
If you can't see the forest from the trees, if you can't see, you got to look at everything going on spiritually, man. Everybody else that's involved in it, man, is collateral damage. They can't just isolate us like they did years ago.
Right.
They have to make it like a all-encompassing type thing.
Yeah.
You know, if y'all know what I mean, just look at it spiritually, man. I don't want to get deep.
Them who
It's
have
too late, bro.
ears to hear, let them hear.
That's all I can say, man. All I can say.
If thou shalt receive it,
Yeah.
receive it.
Yeah. That's all I can say.
No, you're absolutely right, especially with so much going on. And, I don't, my new term is, this isn't the information age, it's the disinformation age.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
I think the mouth of the dragon has taken on and transformed itself in ways. Remember what Christ said, if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect, that there's a bewitching in this thing. And
it's that flood.
Yo, it's almost
it's the flood, man.
Right. And it's almost like see, you have to stay informed, but you almost don't want to because you just it's like who do you believe? And that's why everything has to be. So my point is, you want to tune in to all the different shows that IUIC is putting out. Not everybody covers obviously current events, but the Spirit of Most High is definitely dealing with brothers here in IUIC. I think I was listening to Deacon Yawasop's men's conference thing last night, and he was talking about one piece where he said we could take an officer of 20 and you could send them to debate people with theology degrees.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Right.
I mean, that's not being pompous. That's
no,
being factual.
No, right. And I mean, obviously it depends on what spirit the brother is in.
Right.
But I get what he's saying as far as level of knowledge. That as a 20, you have more knowledge than people who went to theology schools and things like that. And we know that God gives the increase in this walk. So the more that you're rooted in these commandments, in that perfect fear, that clean fear of the Lord, and applying, he's going to be able to show you things as you read these scriptures and to be edifying to the people, you know? So it's important that you take advantage of these shows and these platforms that are out here to be on. So, you know, as we're on here, we ask you to continue to support, right? You know, this is basically our fourth live show.
Yeah,
we had the pre-recorded and then we had the new moon. So we definitely want to keep that momentum going on, right? So he said, I watch Four Corners News for News, not TV. What happened? Yeah, that's good. I know Captain Issachar and them, they go over they watch the news for you and then they bring out news.
Right. We definitely appreciate you, brothers and sisters, taking a step out of the clubhouse for a minute to come walk with us.
Yeah, I know.
During
You know
this
what?
live
If attendance is down on the show tonight, I know it's because people are on Clubhouse.
I guess
The Clubhouse, that's the new phenomenon.
to each his own.
You know, you got to be careful with that too. I know my wife was trying to tease me. She's like, "Watch, you're gonna be on there." I said, "Nah, not really."
That's not.
You know why you
I
guys
said, "That's not really."
aren't enamored by it? Seriously, honestly,
What?
and why sisters are so enamored by it for real?
Why?
Because y'all are from the Bronx, and that's where this truth was born and bred. So y'all went to camp in the mouth of the dragon. Clubhouse is just live camp. Is basically what it is.
I get what you're saying. All right, so it's like intense camp. It's like Belly of the Beast.
That's
type of
what
thing.
it is. So it's this
Just
it's
virtual.
this back and forth social media type of camp feel. That's what it is, and I can see why people are very drawn to it. But
that's a good point. I mean, I won't refute that. I just don't give a damn about social media. Let's see what it is.
Well, I still want to do my.
I hate that thing.
I want to do a show where we talk about the social media and,
Yeah,
possibly a class.
Yeah,
So,
but that's a good point. I could buy that.
and not all of us have iPhones. I'm sorry to hear that, sis.
What happened?
Sister said not all of us have iPhones. I said I'm sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear. Well, stimulus. Hey, now that the Democrats are running both houses, they said you're gonna get the 2
Hey,
Gs.
can I tell you? You know, I ain't got a dog in this fight with these politics, man.
Me neither, man.
But when I saw that they were gonna get control, I said, man, okay, 2,000 for me, 2,000 for the wife. They might give a G each for the kids.
Even if they get 5,
I said, oh,
that's still good money.
snap. I said, man. I said the stimulus is coming. I said 50,000 in student loan debt will be forgiven.
there it is.
All in the first quarter.
Hey, people saw that too. They rushed the Capitol because they wanted to get that money. They thought they could get what do they call that thing? An advance.
That's gonna be
Use the world, but don't abuse it.
That's gonna be the
what it
first.
is.
That's gonna be the first 100 days. I'm looking for the stimulus. Everybody's like, yeah, these guys are gonna make the pandemic go away. Like, I'm good. I got the Most High on my side. All right, and I'm immune now. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
I
what's
haven't
up?
got stimulated, bro.
What? You haven't got
Yeah,
stimulated?
that sounds personal,
That
bro.
sounds personal.
That's between you and your ribs.
The producer said he hasn't gotten stimulated.
You married, bro. Work on that.
You better. You need some counsel with 1 Corinthians 7.
Need some due benevolence. So
Yeah.
That's the scripture way of stimulation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, guess what? Guess what, Sister Selena? If they're watching the news with what's going on in D.C., then they watching the wrong thing because we going in on what happened in D.C. today.
Yeah.
We going in on what happened in D.C. today. So you might want to tell that to brothers and sisters. That's tonight's topic.
Hey, and that ain't even their war, so I don't even know why they're worried about watching that crap.
Well,
this is the spiritual.
you know,
war over
ultimately, that's where I'm gonna go when I talk about this stuff. I'm gonna give you a little light to tell you why it don't surprise me what's going on there. Why I am not astonished as what was happening in D.C. All praises, sister. All praises. Spread the word. Spread the word. And we're gonna talk to you from a biblical perspective about it. And what happened tonight in D.C. put me in the spirit of all praises to the Most High.
I know, because
right.
I thought we were going to talk about. I mean, it's all relative. We know that, but I thought we were going to continue. But
I was gonna. I had my textbooks out. I was gonna, and I said, I kept reading, and I'm seeing stuff, and scriptures are popping in my head, and I said, nah, man, I got to talk about it. I said, I got to talk about what happened on there.
Again. This is spiritual. Everything that's going on, it's about us.
Right.
So,
right, it is.
At the end of the day, I can't say no more about it. I'm not, and I won't.
This thing called life, brothers and sisters, is the story of the Israelites.
That's all it is.
Right.
Hey, the Bible is a history book, right? From Genesis to Revelation, it was, is, and always will be about the Israelites. The other nations are sprinkled in there just to go ahead and show us that every time we went off, he put the heathen, the base people, over us.
Right. It's just
that's it.
It's like a TV show where they got to make new big bads.
There it is.
Right.
There it
So,
is.
but and then you find out it's always been the same person behind it. Right. Like Sherlock Holmes had Dr. Moriarty. Right. And it was always him behind it.
Batman had Robin.
MI6 had the Syndicate.
And Inspector Gadget had.
Oh, what's the guy's name for Inspector Gadget?
I was hoping you knew. That
Right.
was alley-oop.
Right.
99 had 66. And Get Smart. I went back. I took it back.
Right. Let me go to the page. I don't even know where to start. I'm so excited with all this stuff that happened today.
Why don't you just start from the end and go backwards?
All right.
Start from the crack and go backwards.
Let's start with. All right, so we know what went down today, right? So they were there for the elections. I don't know if I want that video first. Maybe I do. Maybe I want the pictures first. Maybe I want some of the pictures first. Get me the one that says photos Trump supporters turned violent. Let's start with that. So as many of you have heard, very expectedly, Trump supporters turned violent.
No, but conservatives don't do that.
No, right. Oh, bro, and let me tell you, you're never going to reason with these people.
Ever.
Because now,
Ever.
these weren't real Trump supporters.
I know.
Now there was Antifa described as Trump supporters.
They look very real to me. They look very real with the Trump hats,
that's what they
the
would,
flags.
Right, that's what they're saying, that it wasn't real Trump. This morning, they were real Trump supporters.
Yes.
When they started to riot and try to cause an insurrection in the Capitol, they weren't Trump supporters. They were Antifa.
When they clearly been saying that they were going to.
There's three veins of thought that you're seeing right now from these nut jobs. All right? 3.
I ain't never seen this.
3. All right? 3.
Can't even do it.
That it wasn't Trump supporters, it was Antifa. That it's oh gosh. Oh, well, I wanted to do the last one. Now I forgot the second one. You threw me off on my 3.
You threw me off with those 3.
1, 2, 3. So that is some are saying good, this is what happens when you steal an election. So some are for it, and they're saying it's time, right? And then others, oh gosh, I had the third one, and you messed me up with the 3.
So you forgot the second one, and then you remember the second one, and then you forgot the third
I'm
one.
all messed up,
Hey, it
man.
is what it is. But listen, Trump supporters are idiots because then they don't really believe in democracy anyways. Then they don't believe in the system that they're fighting for because the election is just that. It's the election. He
Right.
lost. That's it.
Right.
Get over it.
Right.
Yo, I've never seen the biggest babies in my life, bro.
I love it.
Right.
I love
They're
it.
the biggest freaking babies. Babies, bro.
Well, let me tell you something.
And I can't stand either one of them.
And I've gone on record on this show, on the Saturday version anyway, and I've said that I actually love Trump from the perspective of it emboldens his silent majority to not be silent anymore.
That's a good point.
So they speak their mind. I actually don't blame Trump for this at all. This is what this the man. This is what this heathen is like.
They turn on each other, all kind of stuff.
This is what he's like. This is all he's ever known. Have we forgotten that his prophecy was that he would rule by the sword?
Right.
That his nature was to hate his brother, and he wanted to murder him after he gave away his birth. He gave away his birthright.
Yep.
And then was mad when it wasn't given to him, knowing that he gave it away, was still trying to expect get it.
What else?
Right?
He still thought that he would just get over at that moment, but that he'll still get it because he's Esau.
That's exactly what Trump is doing. He said, I lost, but I didn't lose.
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you something.
He said it like that with the Spanish accent.
Right.
I didn't lose.
This wasn't Trump's fault. This is what they are. This is what they are.
That's right.
This is what they are. Yeah, did he embolden it and all that? Of course, absolutely. The scripture tells you he sets up the basis of men, right? This is why I know you see prophecy being fulfilled with this man being elected. I've said it before.
Even more base.
To follow, not that Obama was great,
right,
but Obama put a lot of our people to sleep. And then to follow Obama with this, that's your democracy.
Yep.
That's your great place that all our people are trying to run themselves for and search to this place for help. This is the powers that you think is going to help you in your life and in your struggles? Ridiculous. Let's jump into some of these pictures. Let's see. And you know why I'm relishing this? We are definitely not pro Black Lives Matter as far as the organization.
Right.
Hell no.
We are Black Lives. It's a shame that they took a powerful phrase, because Black lives do matter, right? Israelite lives matter.
Right.
And they made it the name of their organization, because I know some people might hear us and they'd be like, and they're confused when we say that. But they were getting on Black Lives Matter for protest, and they were calling. I'm going to show you a post later where Trump's daughter was calling these insurrectionists, right? These seditious.
You mean the conservatives?
These extremists.
Yep.
Right, because they love to label Israelites extremists. These extremists, she called them American patriots. She called them American patriots. And you want to know something? She's absolutely right. Because that's what this country stands for. That's what they represent.
Right. But check this out. I know people are thinking this. I know people said this and stuff. But we got to reiterate it, right? If a whole bunch of blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans would have did the same thing, would we have been called American patriots?
Absolutely
because we
not.
have every right to storm the Capitol, right?
Absolutely
Because
not.
everything is against us, right?
Well, now
So
that you
think
say
about
that,
the hypocrisy.
hey, we're talking about that. Let's
Did you
put up
get
the
3?
screenshot from Karen Bass.
Did you get
no,
the third one?
it's not going to come back. It's gone. It's gone because of my 3 fingers. Let's pull up what Karen Bass said. So this is Congressman Karen Bass, and
he's amazing.
This sister definitely needs some flyers. I understand she's in a position where she's in Congress, so she's not gonna be able to roll.
No, but she be
certain
bringing
way.
it out though, bro. Like
But she be bringing it out. Well, she
tearing
said she
Esau
knows
up.
about us. There was a thing when she
Yeah.
grilled the FBI,
Yep.
and she said they are not a threat.
Right.
She was like, I know them very well.
Right. Right.
She might have family that's in the truth. But just because of her offices and things like that, and I don't blame her, she can do more good
I was
there
just gonna
playing
say.
the game
I was just gonna say.
than
yes.
she would rolling
because
with
you know
us.
what? That could be our internal.
Right.
Yeah.
So she says the people breaking into the Capitol are the same people that scream about law and order when there are Black Lives Matter protests. The people that are attacking Capitol Police officers right now are the same people that say they stand with the police. I was thinking about that one, hard body, with their black and blue flags and law enforcement,
that's what they
Blue Lives
represent.
Matter,
Yep.
right? There will be thousands of videos and photos from this incident. That's all evidence. Every single person that broke into the Capitol should be arrested. Every single person that scaled the Capitol with rope should be arrested. Every single person that broke into Speaker Pelosi's office should be arrested. Every single person that broke into the Senate chamber should be arrested.
Yo, this dude broke in and got on her phone and everything.
Bro, he had his feet up on the desk.
Yeah.
He was chilling, bro.
I said, oh. I said, damn. So to
man.
your point, right? Okay, so let's pull up Ivanka. Let's see what Ivanka says.
Ivanka.
Can you make that a little bigger?
Ivanka Hump. What was that? Ivanka Hump.
She called the rioters patriot when it was us doing stuff, right? And mind you, we spoke against those rioting because
Sure.
why would you go and destroy your own
Right.
community?
That's
over
reveling,
stuff?
and that
Right.
doesn't. Right.
That's not the
Right.
fight that we should
Nah,
be. Our
no,
warfare
absolutely
is
not.
spiritual,
It's
not
spiritual.
that.
That's right. That's confirmed.
So we definitely don't condone that by any measure. But we understand where that frustration comes from.
Hey, especially when they're destroying their own neighborhoods.
Right. Hey, take what those Trump supporters felt today and multiply that by thousands of years of
Right.
oppression, and that's what we feel every day. They got a taste of what it was like to be a sore loser, to not get their way, and now they're up and throwing a tantrum about it.
Yeah, but that's just all, like you said, that's our life.
That's
every
our
day
life.
for us.
That's every day for us.
Yeah.
Guess what? You still got an old white man in office.
There it is.
Right.
Hell out of here with that. And when there was a black man, guess what? He was white enough.
Oh man.
So
They didn't get that. They didn't
someone
get
put
that.
felonies upon felonies. Right. Felonies upon felonies. Right. They were revolting because their white privilege was revoked today.
Yo, it was so bad. I don't know if you're gonna show it, Cat, but they stuck the Judah brother to fend
We're
off.
gonna show it.
You're gonna show
We're gonna
it.
show it.
All right,
We're
all
gonna
right.
show
That-
it.
You know, I felt bad for the Judah brother because he had no
Right,
choice.
right.
Because you know they
Hey,
would have stomped him.
If it was us, not only arrested, they would have killed us. You're absolutely right. We would have been shot the hell up.
Big time. Yo, they would have threw grenades, all kind of stuff, bro.
Shot the hell up. Hey, let's not forget when Trump wanted to go do his
That's right,
Photoshop,
yep.
he made sure that he got the protesters out the way. So here you have a treat from Ivanka Trump while this was going on, right? She says she called the rioters American patriots. She says American patriots. Any security breach or disrespect to our law enforcement is unacceptable. The violence must stop immediately. Please be peaceful. While they were not being peaceful, please be peaceful. It's too late. It was not peaceful anymore.
Hey, while he was saying throughout his whole speech that we need to do things, throwing hidden stuff. He was riling up his people.
So they took it off. They won't, and they suspended him for 12 hours on all the platforms. Because he has people who have been staunch allies of his saying that video was a piece of shit. They were like, yo, you're like, because while he's telling them to go home, he's also telling them.
Yeah, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth, man.
Right. Well, he was like, we love you. We love you very much for what you're doing, but go home. But go home. But go home.
Right. Yeah, right.
Hey, and then at one point he was gonna stop the speech, and then he saw that they were liking it, so he went back in there. Yo, that dude's crazy, bro.
Yo, bro, I can picture him sitting in there in the Oval Office, bro, like laughing in the seat, clapping his hands, right,
dancing like
with his little hands. Yeah, so we're called looters. We're called all types of base derogatory things when we protest something that we're upset about.
All types of proverbs and bywords.
And they're called American patriots.
Crazy.
But guess what? It's true. That's what American patriots are. I'm going to show you some stuff later, too. Even if the show got to go a little long, I'm going to show you some stuff later. I'm going to show you about that snake flag that they fly.
Oh, don't tread on me?
Yep, the Gadsden flag. We're going to talk about that.
Gadsden flag.
And how the scripture so aptly calls them that old serpent, the devil, also known as Satan. This is why we say Satan casting out Satan. No, we shouldn't be up in arms over this thing. We should be rejoicing because Christ told us a house divided cannot stand. What you're seeing is more of the signs of these last days.
Yep, they're being
so this is a beautiful thing that happened today. Right? So it says, oh, yeah, I did see that. It says the news said Trump wouldn't let them call in the National Guard. And then I think the Department of...
the mayor finally went in.
One of them had to do it.
The Pentagon.
And then he tried to go back and take credit for it and said that it was at his direction.
Yeah, but they kept saying they did not. They held them back.
Right. Yep. What else we got picture-wise since we're on it? Let me see what Van Jones had to say. Make that bigger. Why did I click that? I know, I was just going through stuff earlier. Can you make that bigger? Van Jones called for uniformly denouncing the riots. What if Black Lives Matter did this? CNN's Van Jones. Now, Van Jones,
right.
All right, but, sometimes he says some good stuff. CNN's Van Jones, right, because he cried like when Biden won, so he's going to fall under the
No, but I think his grandmom is an Edomite.
Oh, well, that explains a lot.
Yeah, somebody on the side is
So it's CNN's Van Jones called on Republicans and conservatives to denounce the riots at the U.S. Capitol building today. I don't think that Republicans and conservatives can look at this and say, this is okay, he said. I'm calling on all my conservative friends, my Republican friends, to say, what would I do if Black Lives Matter dropped 30,000 black people on the nation's capital and laid siege to the seat of power in the middle of a joint sessions of Congress and broke in? They would be shot and killed. What would I say if Black Lives Matter did that? I'm going to say it right now. What if Muslims did it? Oh, they would definitely shot, killed. If Muslims dropped 30,000 Muslims on the seat of government in the middle of a joint session, right? I think I gave another one. Okay. On Congress and ran in there was blood on the floor and tear gas. What would we be saying, Jones Press? Right. You could see the tone of how it would be reported. Jones called for a uniform denunciation right now from top to bottom of the Republican Party of what we're seeing. Yeah, but it's not just the Republican Party, Van.
Well, because again, that's their guide. Politics.
Well, we can talk about that too. Yeah. Yep, you're absolutely right. Yeah. We in the same spirit. As a matter of fact, I was listening to Chuck Schumer.
Chucky, the majority Senate leader now?
As the, Hey, I saw a satire article that was funny. They said he grabbed Mitch and he said, come here, you loose-skinned prick.
Did he say that?
He said, I'm the boss now. No, he didn't. But
Yo, that's gangster, bro.
It's like one of those satire news. It's like one of those satire news things, and they said that it was reported that's what he did.
I just need to see his right hand moving to sign that bill.
So he says he called the Capitol the temple of democracy. Oof. We're going to bring out that first Maccabees to show you that democracy is a religion. And he called the Capitol the temple. That's not some slip in a speech.
Nah, none of that is.
I said, ooh. I said, you see, our people will hear this and they won't realize what he said.
Nope.
They don't realize that democracy is idolatry. That running to help and supporting that, right? Christ said that if you're not with me, you're against him. So, and furthermore, he said, all those that are against me, bring them before me so that I may slay them. He called the Capitol the temple of they're outraged because of what happened in their temple. He called that the temple of democracy. So let's look at some of the pictures. Let's go through some of the pictures. She said they kept saying on the news they need to gently move the protesters. Gently. Come on, man. You know there's some black folks climbing up on the second floor up there. What they be doing? Come on. Go ahead. Go to the next one.
Yo, they gangster, bro.
Yo, they was climbing the walls, bro.
Bro, this looks like something from like World War Z or something like that.
Oh,
It's
my
insane.
Next.
Yo, he used like the cracks. You know, see, they put the foot. Yo, they
yeah.
planned all that stuff out, bro.
Go to the article. There's a bunch of pictures in the article.
Yo, he's so crazy,
Let's
bro.
go to the article. All right. So it says, as Congress prepared to affirm President-elect Joe Biden's victory, thousands of people lined up before sunrise Wednesday to show their support for President Trump and his baseless claims of election fraud. Trump was expected. All elections are fraudulent. Get the hell out of here with
All
that.
of them.
All right. Why? Because Christ the King's not on the throne. How about
That's
that?
right.
So all of them are frauds. Trump was expected to address his supporters later in the morning during a rally. So go ahead, scroll down. You see the first picture. That's them with their flags. Now, we're going to come back to that snake, all right, later. That yellow flag with the snake. Some of you who out here in Arizona where we're like they're everywhere, like even in real ethnic neighborhoods, white people are present.
Even T-shirts.
And you see it on their T-shirts and stuff, right? So there's some history to that flag that I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show you how appropriate it is that they would pick a snake to represent them. There's some words by Benjamin Franklin that he explains why he picked a rattlesnake. And it describes them and this country and what it stands for perfectly. Look at them. Look at the police there. Look, you got the brother back
Look
there.
at the
I wonder
Judah
if that's the one we're going to show the video
I don't know,
of.
man. Maybe, but he's like, what do you want from me? That's what he's looking for. I ain't getting about none of that. This ain't
Get
my
a
fight.
good job, they said. Everybody was happy when they said, I'm working at the White House.
He said, oh, hell no. That's the look he got.
Notice he way back there, no gas.
No helmet,
He
nothing,
ready
bro.
to dip. He's like, listen, when this pops off, I'm running to the second floor.
He said, damn you, affirmative action.
He said, damn affirmative action. Why you got to throw me in this mess? Hey, Secret Service had to whip out guns.
Yeah,
they
look
was
at my
trying to
man's
break
face
into
in
the
the hole.
house. Look at that. Damn.
They had to put barriers, bro.
If that was a black face, he'd have been
would've been
shot,
shot
right
already.
there, bro. Shot. Look at that. Goodness. What do you want to show me there? You saw the producer like highlighting it. What do you speak, bro? What do you?
Yes,
He's
we
aiming.
know that he saw.
Yes,
Yes,
pointing
yes.
with
His eyes closed.
Oh, his eyes closed.
No.
He's aiming.
He's aiming.
He's aiming.
Stick to producing, bro.
Yeah, right.
Firearms is not your
Look,
thing. We
his
got
eyes
it.
are closed. He's aiming. What do you know? What do you know about that? Hey, this is the one you were talking about. Go to the next one.
Yo, my man.
Yo, look at my
He's
dude,
in,
bro.
he's in Pelosi's office.
Yo, look at this guy.
Yo,
Is that a gun in his hip? Is he there armed? They were saying they were
they
armed.
probably were, man.
They were saying they were armed.
Yo, he on his cell phone chilling, bro. Look. Damn.
Wow. Hey, stop that for 1 second. Go to the one that I it's a tweet from Trump from way back. When he was talking about the people protesting. Yeah, right. So this is what Trump said when it was our people doing stuff.
In July.
And he said, this is July of 2020. He said, anarchist, not American patriots. This is what he called, which were mostly our people. Anarchists, agitators, or protesters who vandalize or damage our federal courthouse in Portland or any federal buildings in any of our cities or states will be prosecuted under our recently reenacted Statutes and Monuments Act. Minimum 10 years in prison. Don't do it. So, by his own words, everybody that was in their temple of democracy today should be getting 10 minimum. 10 minimum. And then they were trying to say that they weren't arresting these people because they were outnumbered. It don't matter, bro. They don't. When they're in riot gear like that, and it's our people, they start to crack heads.
Don't matter.
So that's him there, right? Look at them, bro. They in there. Gosh, man, those look trashy, bro.
Yo, not one of them look like Antifa.
They look
or
trashy.
BLM.
They look like your prototypical
Yep.
Trump supporters. Look at this next one. I don't know what was he jumping from the top. What the hell was this guy doing?
Yeah, he jumped from the thing. Cause remember that's the balcony right there.
Oh my goodness.
So he couldn't get into the door.
Yo, he came ready for. Look, he has knee pads. He had his mask.
Yep.
He knew he wasn't coming there to do no peaceful protest. They said they were finding like pipe bombs throughout different areas. Come on, man. Black people don't be doing that. I mean, maybe we'll do a Molotov cocktail or something, but we ain't doing no pipe bombs.
Warriors.
We ain't doing no pipe. Look. Jesus, help me. She's praying to Caesar right there. She freaking the hell out. They was shook in there. Besieged.
Yo, he sat on the thing where that's where the speakers sit.
Look at this nut. Her sign says the children cry out for justice. Look at him. They were taking selfies up on there.
He chilling.
He chilling up. That's where Pence sits.
Bro, the pump. Bro.
That's where Pence. Wait. Oh, he's on the next one already. Look at this. And then apparently this guy is everywhere. There was like another picture where he was somewhere else.
I saw him all
this
over,
guy is everywhere. Look at him with horns.
Yeah, they were holding Congress, bro.
Yo, that's wild, bro. Black folk won't do that. We ain't that creative. We just destroy our own neighborhood. What the hell? We're going to the federal building. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. They had some of them down there. Look at that. Got
some nice chairs in there.
Oh, yeah, that's some years old furniture. Look at them. Look, some of them got the 13 colonies flag, right? All those Trump flags. Damn, what? You see that one flag? It says F. Biden. Up there in the upper left, it says F. Biden.
Damn. Yeah, it does.
Wow.
Like the whole F, like the whole word.
Damn, they brought out the hoses. They was wetting people or squirting them. That looks like a super soaker. That's not doing nothing.
If it was us, man, they would have had the real hose.
They would have bought the ones that come on the trucks. The cannons.
That's their water hose.
Oh, that's because he got pepper sprayed, I guess. Look at him. Is that a beer in his hand? No, aminos. It says amino acids. Oh, I think this is the one that was, he looks like the one that when we showed a video of the brother that was like pushing through.
That's him.
Yeah, that don't look like no damn Antifa. Look at that. Goodness gracious.
Oh, I love that thing.
Not a perfect man, but a man perfect for the job. Look at that one. They love that dude, bro. He speaks their mind. That's why.
Yeah, he's their mouthpiece.
Yep. Damn, they was all over the place. Look at that. Silent majority. They got professional signs made. Trump wins. What's that? The Standard? Is that like a pro and then is that the same? Now it says Los Angeles. I don't know if that's the same thing. All right, so that's those pictures there. Show the video of the brother. Let's look at the video of the brother.
Bro, that does not look like Antifa at all, bro.
It's that brother that we saw in the picture. He was on the second floor because that's why he didn't have the mask.
Tom is on the floor.
He has a pistol. He's just not putting it out.
Yeah, no, because
and he's black. He knows he's black.
Yep. He exercised restraint. He said, "Let me make it look good."
Yeah, right.
He said, "I'll hit you. Don't take another step."
Notice they got that dude all alone.
Come on, man. That's by design too, bro. Because he's calling for, he called for back. He's calling for backup right now.
Yeah, you hear him.
Ain't nobody rushed down there. Second floor. Look at this. They left the brother all by himself, boy.
I don't even think they let you do tours in the Capitol because they don't want to compromise. They don't.
No respect, man.
But supposedly these are the people that are for law enforcement.
They said, okay.
Look at how far he had to go. They weren't running towards him. Look, he had to go to them for backup.
He lost his hat throughout the whole thing, man.
And that's mild. That's what they allow to be put out. That's mild. That's my. Someone said use the gun. Nah, bro, because you know how they go down if he'd have used the gun.
A black officer shot a white patriot.
You can't do that.
I would have put it too, bro.
You can't do that. You can't do that. So, gosh, I don't even know where to start. I wrote some scriptures down. Let's jump into some.
You get that third one yet?
No, I don't got the third one. Let me tell you what you witnessed today. All right, let me show you what you witnessed today. We'll jump back to the article in a little bit. Let's get Matthew 12 and 25. Let's start there.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 25. And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
What you're seeing is, and this obviously started happening prior to this, but what you're seeing, later we're going to talk about an article. What you're seeing is the age of decadence. What you're seeing is dystopia in what they think is a kingdom that will reign forever, right? And we'll talk about those terms and what that really means. A lot of times you'll see movies and they'll say it's a dystopian fantasy, and they're always about basically almost the end of the world, right? Like a society that was on top of everything and it's starting to crumble, right? Christ here tells you that any kingdom that's divided against itself is brought to desolation. You're seeing the divisions amongst the same people right now. Mm-hmm. And this is why I said I rejoiced when I saw that thing in the Capitol, because what that's telling you is that we're seeing more prophecy be fulfilled. We're steps closer to the end of this place. Yeah, man. To the end of this place in these times. Come on, read.
And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
They cannot stand if they're divided like this. You think things are going back to normal with Biden? I was reading an article the other day. They said Trump, for whatever he is, whether he fades to black or whatever's going to happen with him, he's changed the way politics and stuff is going to be done forever. The Democrats are already talking about going nuclear. They said, now we're going to do it back. Biden's trying to talk it down, talking about, no, we're going to be bipartisan. But now they got the majority in both houses.
That's a problem. You see, that was the most important race between those two houses. Let's not forget.
And they're saying Trump messed it up for them.
Right. Let's not forget they make laws. Yeah. So we're going to start seeing some super contrary Bible stuff.
Right. And that's big time.
Super contrary.
I do want my stimulus and I do want my student loan forgiveness.
Yes.
But it's not that because I'm rooting for them. It's that let me get something in this life. You know what I'm saying?
It's not that you're rooting. It's just that you want to use the world but not abuse it.
I want, exactly.
Get two TVs and lay down.
But remember, the scripture tells us that the liberal is vile. And you're going to see these people in office, and they're going to start going ham on their agendas. They were already talking about doing away with the filibuster. So the filibuster is that you need, it basically is supposed to ensure bipartisan support for bills to pass. And what it means is that in the Senate, you need at least 60 votes in order for something to become law. And for certain types of laws and things like that, it needs to have 60 votes. So what they're saying is, let's get rid of the filibuster. And if we get rid of the filibuster, we can just break ties all day with Kamala Harris being the vice president.
Yep. And
that they can just push through whatever agendas that they want. And that's probably going to happen. It's probably going to happen. That's what you're going to see, right? So what you're seeing is that let me tell you something. This is a government that will not stand. For all you foolish that are so into this place, that are so into this world and this democracy. Now, I know our brothers and sisters that are repenting, right? Depending on where you're at in this walk, you see the writing on the wall. That thing don't mean nothing to you, right? And at the end of the day, let me tell you, that's Esau doing what Esau do, right? But I want to talk about it from a perspective because I personally know I have family members that are caught up in this madness, right? They're not in the truth, that they're like hard body into this stuff. Got a brother today saying, hey, see, this is what happens when you rob elections. Like, no, basically bro. Saying, yeah, like, no. Like it's a good thing. Like, it's a good thing. I said, gosh.
Wait, so now if it would have happened the other way around, what would they have said?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? See the BS, man?
For all the smack that they spoke, that Democrats were upset when Trump won, it didn't go to these extremes. Not even with the objections that they're doing in the
Not
Congress
even close.
Right
they took
now.
it on the chin. I mean, again, I don't care either way, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Right. And yeah, that's my point. At the end of the day, what Esau gonna do? What Esau gonna do? Where's my 2K?
She said, give me my stimmy.
Yo,
give me my stimmy. That's
Israel's
right,
funny.
sis.
Israel's funny, bro.
She said, give me my stimmy. That's right. I like that. Give me my stimmy. That's right. Snap.
Hey, it's all money anyway.
Hey, when I saw that they won, I said, oh, yeah. I said, January 20th, we get into stimmy.
Chucky.
Watch. Yeah. Chuck Schumer gonna run that thing. Come here, Mitch.
Yep.
Read the next verse. Come on.
Verse 27.
No,
Verse
26.
26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?
Satan trying to cast Satan out of the White House, out of the Capitol.
That's exactly what that is.
And I'm gonna show you later when we talk about that serpent, when we talk about that flag. Remember this verse, all right? Because when we go to Revelation, I think it's 12 and 9, it talks about that old serpent, the devil, Satan. You're gonna see that's what I'm saying. I watch this news and I see this stuff, and it's Bible in my head. Bible, verses, scriptures.
If you're about this truth, that's where it should be.
Tree.
I still can't figure that out. I don't know how he does that.
So that's what I see when I see this. It says, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. I said, wow. I said, they divided against themselves. I said, this is beautiful. I'm loving this. I said, I'm loving this. This is wonderful. Hey, get Daniel 2 and 41. I'm going to show you what you're seeing. It's another one that I thought of. I said, ooh-wee.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2 and verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided.
Hey, this is the statue in Daniel. If you're not familiar with it, read Daniel 2. This is when he's interpreting Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Bishop has gone over this a bunch of times, and he shows the statue, and it shows the different kingdoms, right? Ones that were past, and some that were existing, and some that were to come. And when you get to the feet, that's the end. That's how we know that this is the last kingdom. This is the last hurrah.
That's the one that mysteriously they don't know what the feet are.
Right. All of a sudden, right.
Conveniently.
Because you'll find, because the breakdown that Bishop bring out in that, they're with it. You find stuff out there. Yeah, that's Babylon. Yeah, that's Rome. Yeah, that's Greece. Yeah, that's this. Yeah, that's that.
But the feet.
We don't know who that last kingdom is.
That book is sealed.
That verse is sealed.
Yeah, that verse is sealed.
It's unsealed up to verse 40. We know that verse 40 was Rome. And then after that, it's sealed.
And they're adamant about that.
After that, it's sealed. We don't know anything. We don't know anything about that thing.
That we don't know, but we do know John 3:16.
Right, John 3:16. Yeah, let's bring that up. So read from the top of verse 41 again.
Verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided.
And that's what you're seeing. This is this last kingdom that's divided. They're not united. I love it. I love it when I see them not bipartisan. I love it when I see them partisan. The mere fact that they have the term partisan goes to show you that the whole democracy is divided. Talking about consents of the governed, blah, 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 this, that, and get out of here with your dream. Let me tell you something. I was thinking in the car, and I said, they're so funny because when they created this constitution and this government, they had it in their minds that they would always be in power.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start to see some influence of civil rights movement, where the Most High has put it in their spirits to allow some ease to us, don't put that in your mind as confusion that all of a sudden this stuff applies to you. When they created these laws and they created this thing to last forever, they only had them in mind and their agendas.
Can I prove that real quick?
So 1 second. Yes. And so what they did was, as it came time to adjust it, this is what they do when they pass these different legislations to make you appear like you're involved, but they still run with their agenda and their craftiness of how they manipulate this Constitution and all that. So I keep hearing the Constitution, the Republic, and they try to talk about it in modern terms and it's standing the test of time. But what you always have to remember is that when they created this, they were ruling. They never intended for this place to be this melting pot. I'm going to show you something. Oh, gosh, I hope I have it. I was reading so many different things. I think when we read about the Gadsden flag, maybe it'll come out. They used to send, when Britain was still over, before it became the United States, Britain, as a punishment, would send criminals here. This was the jail. So what that means is that the founding fathers were convicted felons that was sent here for a prison sentence, and they rebelled and took over the prison.
Yep.
So, and which made me think of that vagabond and fugitive in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's not forget that the Most High is the puppet master. He allowed them to create that constitution because it's based on, like they like to say, Judeo-Christian. But the Most High put that in there because they were going to, remember, they're vessel fit for destruction. So he was going to destroy them with their own constitution, and we see that right before our eyes.
Yes. That the Most High has a sense of humor.
He does.
The Most High has
I think
a
it's
sense of humor.
hysterical.
What were you going to bring out? I want to come back to Daniel.
Yeah,
Bring out what you want to bring out.
Psalms 49, verse 11. It says, their inward thought is, their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names.
Right.
So to go back off your point, when they wrote that thing, it was the intention that this is never going to end. This is our kingdom that's going to go forever.
Yep, that's how they thought it. So you always have to remember that and frame that in your mind when you see this damn thing. And they talk about this Constitution and us, or those of our people who are still looking for this nation to help them. Right, I know that it's brought out and people say, well, when they wrote the Constitution with 3/5 of a man, think deeper in their mind. When they wrote these rules and laws, it was ironclad so that they can stay and remain in power. It was only meant for them. That's the whole point. Let's go back to Daniel. Read 41 again.
Hey, Cap.
Yeah.
It said that also to the Spaniards that they would send their criminals to the new world to govern Mexico, Central America, South America.
Well, Columbus came with conquistadors. Those were prison. He sent the Queen Isabel and Ferdinand sent prisoners with him.
Can they hear you when you speak, Issachar, or do I have to repeat back what you just said? Because they're not gonna know.
No, they can hear me.
Oh, they can. Okay.
He sent prisoners. He came with prisoners. Those 40 that he came with were prisoners. It clearly says they were let out of jail for this.
Right. And so that was a practice also that Britain used, and they would send their criminals here as a form of exile. And then those same criminals became upstanding, productive members of Congress.
Yeah, right.
Shoot, Columbus was a criminal.
Yep, right. Come on.
Daniel 2, verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
So letting you know that it's still not weak by any measure, right? The iron in there, but iron and clay, that stuff don't go together. So it's kind of letting you know, like, if as the clay brittles away, there's still some strength in it. It's going to endure for a time. It's going to dominate for a time. But the two elements won't be together, right? So because that means the clay and the iron, it's two different factions. You got people that are soft and weak thinking that this government is for them, that this place is for them. And that's the clay that supports this system and puts the whole thing up. And then the iron is them with their cold-blooded killer instinct that their whole thing is to maintain their rulership and their power. Come on, read on.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
And you saw that today because I was reading how they said, gosh, everybody was chiming in from all over the world. They're like, America's the shining example of democracy. This is what other countries, this is something that happens in a third world country. This is a coup. Yep. They said that people all over the world, they just displayed their weakness.
Yeah, they sure did.
To the other nations.
Sure did. That's exactly what they
to
did.
inspire them to turn against them, as is prophesied. God's foundational work is being laid here for these prophecies to be fulfilled.
I'm saying you got to see this spiritually, man.
And so that's why I couldn't stop watching the coverage. I said, damn, I should be doing some work. I said, I guess I'm going to have to talk about this tonight on the show.
It's going to get better.
I said, I'm going to have to talk about it on the show. And it says it's partly strong and partly broken. Come on.
And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
So it says basically everybody was going to be mingled together like you see here. It says, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Iron and clay do not bind. They cannot be together, right? You could put clay around an iron ball. You could put iron around a clay ball.
Yeah,
right. It's not going to hold. It's not going to stay. It's speaking. And so, man, I mean, I know we knew this before, but today was another sign from the Most High that he's talking about the United States of America and the state of the world and what's going on now. Let me get the article on. First, let's get the definition of decadence, right? So we'll get the decadence article in a moment. Let's get the Wikipedia decadence. All right, and then we'll go into the age of decadence.
And the Bishop of Israel put something very important. The same way Mosai's dealing with America, the same way he dealt with the Egyptians. Remember, America and Egyptia, they're synonymous with each other. He destroyed them with the same plagues, with their gods.
Yep.
With their what gave them their strength, supposedly.
Yep. So it says decadence. So the word decadence, which at first meant simply decline in an abstract sense, is now most often used to refer to a perceived decay in standards, morals, dignity, religious faith, honor, discipline, or skill at governing a large social structure, such as an empire or nation state. So when you see decadence, I think the word, some of our people get confused and they think the word means, because you'll eat something and they'll be like, oh, this is decadent.
They think it's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, they think, oh, this chocolate was decadent.
I don't know. I never said that.
I don't speak that way.
We didn't work in Manhattan.
Damn, well, there was a fancy grocery store in Manhattan, bro. I can't remember the name of it.
See?
I'm trying to remember the name of it. Right, brother. Yes. The clay is dealing with the other nations trying to cling to it, but there's levels to this whole thing, right?
Right, it's deep.
So it's not just one thing. Remember, the scriptures have multiple meanings, so there's layers to the whole thing, right? So that's when you're dealing with it from an empire perspective. So it says a perceived decay. Notice they always try to put something in there, perceived decay. So it says it's a decay in standards, right? You'll see that now. You'll see that with the blatant sexualism that's out there.
Yep.
Things that you wouldn't say 10 years ago, you say and show now so openly, right?
Just like Rome.
A perceived decay in standards, morals, dignity. Hey, I was reading the other day, right? And she's our people, but she's simple as freaking hell. Cardi B was talking about she don't let her kids listen to WAP.
Yeah, I know. She's simple as hell. I can't believe it. I read that thing too.
I know. My wife was saying something about the song the other day.
Yeah.
And I said, I heard like the first verse and I turned that shit off because I said, this thing's gonna put spirits on me.
And I knew when they put initials that it couldn't be good.
No, I haven't heard the whole song to this day because
I haven't heard the whole song.
I know
it's
Captain
raw.
Zakar did.
It's raunchy.
I love you, Zakar. I love you. I'm
she said when her kids come in the car, she turns it off.
Yeah, like she runs to turn it off. Freaking WAP, right? I mean, just everything that's around you. The Sodom agenda, right? It says this place would be a Sodom and Gomorrah.
Hey, there was Trump supporters with the rainbow flag.
Yes. Hey, how many people are transgender and gay? Even Republicans now. They're supposed to be conservative Republicans. And there's Republican transgender that recently got elected to positions.
That's decadence.
All that stuff. Decadence. Dignity, religious faith. Religion is going out the door. Trump's probably one of the first presidents that very loosely acknowledge any type of belief in God, but he's full of crap. Right? Honor, no discipline. Or skill at governing among the members of the elite.
They proved that.
They proved that for sure. By extension, it may refer to a decline in art, literature, science, technology, and work ethics, or very loosely to self-indulgent behavior. That's when the scripture says lovers of themselves, right? Forbidding to marry, right? So it says usage of the term sometimes implies moral censure or an acceptance of the idea met with throughout the world since ancient times. What'd you do? That such declines are objectively observable and that they inevitably precede the destruction of the society in question.
Boom.
Look at them. Their butt sticking out.
Yep.
And in the Senate.
Romans during
in
the
the Capitol.
It's called Romans during the... Scroll up, an orgy. So it's talking about sexual immorality too, which is what you see now. I was watching something the other day that they said now... So apparently during the pandemic... They got this thing with buff gay men that go to these parties and so they're trying to put them on blast because they're going to these pandemic parties and they're all dancing up on each other, and we know how these homosexual spirits are. They're very lewd. They go to these places to have casual sex, gay sex,
and them buff
which is an abomination.
They got to carry each other. Freaking nasty.
You were gonna bring something out?
Yeah, I was gonna bring out 2nd Ezra 6 and 9.
Okay, hold on. Before you read, let me read this one more time, and then I'll let you bring this out. So notice what it just said here when you deal with decadence. All right, it says such declines are objectively observable. Objective means it's factual. It's not subjective. It's not subject to opinion. Right? That you can objectively see that it's a decline of an empire. It says, and that they inevitably precede the destruction of the society in question. So it means when you start to see this, it's inevitable that this place is going down. That's what it's talking about. Go ahead. Bring out what you're bringing out.
2nd Ezra 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
I saw that today, and I said, man, we got next.
We got next.
I said, we got next. What you're seeing is the decline. You're seeing that miry clay strip away from the iron, and you're seeing the decline of this society. It says, for this reason, modern historians use it with caution. They don't like to say it because when you start to see that, it's inevitable that the society is going to decline. And then it shows you on the side here, the Rome as an example of its decadence. Except Rome didn't go away. Its principles were moved on, and it moved forward.
The scripture talks about that in Revelation.
Yes.
This is the last age of decadence.
This is the last age of decadence.
This is the horn. America's the horn that came from Rome.
Yep.
Let me see if I want to finish this. It says the word originated in medieval Latin, appeared in the 16th century French, and entered English soon afterwards. It bore the neutral meaning of decay, decrease, or decline until the late 19th century, when the influence of new theories of social degeneration contributed to its modern meaning. So just highlight social degeneration. Like if you click on it, a little brief will come up. Okay. Social degeneration was a widely influential concept at the interface of the social and biological sciences in the 18th, 19th centuries. During the 18th century, thinkers, okay, so it's basically saying that's letting you know that when you start to see a society degenerate, so you're seeing the falling away of that stuff. I don't think I need any more on that. Let's look at Dystopia, the Cambridge one.
It's pretty funny because people see all this acceptance of homosexuality and transgenderism and all these different things as the society getting better, but people would see it with spiritual eyes, see it. No, it's the exact opposite.
That's an excellent point, and I'm glad that you point that out. This is why we're speaking about this. This is why we're going over this on the show, is because this is them calling evil good.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
It's not that strict anymore. Right, I could walk around and be who I want to be. Right, that's the way they think about it. But in naturality, yeah, we look at it spiritually. We're like, no, you're decayed because it's contrary to the Bible.
Listen, man, when you're living in times where you're born as a male and you're born as a female, and they're telling you get to choose that,
that's decadence.
That's decadence. That's decadence. We're living in a dystopian society.
It's wicked as hell and it's decadence.
It says dystopia, a very bad or unfair society in which there is a lot of suffering, especially an imaginary society in the future. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
The future has arrived. The future has arrived, brothers and sisters.
We's here.
It says after something terrible has happened, a description of such a society. And then it gives you, so for example, you'll see this in movies a lot. The film is set in 2700 on an uninhabitable Earth, a dystopia covered in towers of garbage. Go to the dictionary one. It says a society characterized by human misery as squalor, oppression, disease, and overcrowding. And overcrowding. Now, listen, we know their whole thing. Bishop brought it out lovely about the population, and they're saying that, oh, it can't support the population. Listen, the Most High is going to act if there were any population limits before something happens on the earth. All right?
They're not the ones that are going to control it.
Right, they're not going to control that thing. So click on squalor. Right, and click on it. It's gonna take us to another one. The condition of being squalid, filth, and misery. Click on squalid now. I hate when they do that, but so it says foul and repulsive, as from lack of care or cleanliness, neglected and filthy, wretched, miserable, degraded, sordid. That's what you're seeing.
Yep.
That's what you're seeing. That's a dystopia. Now put utopia, all right, and then we'll read the dystopia one in Wiki. just so you can see the difference, right? Because you might hear these terms in literature and movies. The opposite of dystopia is utopia. And it's an imagined community, because they tell you it's imagined because they say it can't exist. There is no, they acknowledge the miry clay. There's no perfect, what's perfect is the kingdom. When we read Daniel 2:44, we're going to read about that thing. That's utopia. And they try to, utopia is the kingdom of heaven, but they're trying to tell you that it's an imagined thing. And it says a utopia is an imagined community or society that possesses highly desirable or nearly perfect qualities for its citizen. Is it Deuteronomy 6:4 where it says, "This is your wisdom in the sight of the nations"? Can you get that for me? Am I off? Utopia, because I said utopia is the kingdom of heaven. It says this is a highly desired, this is a community or society, that's us, the Israelites, that possesses highly desirable or nearly perfect qualities for its citizen. These commandments, the law of the Lord is perfect. It's this Bible that is that utopia. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations.
Keep therefore and do them, these commandments, because it says this is our wisdom and our knowledge in the sight of the nations. So a utopia is what we're going to have when the kingdom of heaven is established. That's what utopia is. What you have right now is dystopian societies. And not just what you're seeing in the United States, because it was never good. He talks about make America great again. It was never good. None of these places were ever good. But in their minds, even now you see this. When you see this division, Satan, remember we just read, Christ said Satan stands against Satan. A house divided will lead to the desolation of that house. So what you're seeing is the beginning of that stuff. Now let's click on Wiki Dystopia. Let's get a little more understanding so you can see that that's what we're living in. A dystopia, it's from ancient Greek. It means bad or hard, a bad or hard place. It says alternatively cacotopia, or simply anti-utopia, is a community or society that is undesirable or frightening. You saw people today, I can't believe this is happening in America. It's an undesirable or frightening. It is an antonym of utopia. It's just the opposite. So, you got people out there that think that Christ is going to come and the Senate is still going to be there and the House and the President and that everybody's still going to be able to govern this way and stuff like that.
And that they're going to live in their life wicked as hell.
Right.
And they're going to get the kingdom.
We just proved that utopia is the kingdom of heaven. It's that rulership. So by its very nature, it cannot exist, and it's the exact opposite of a dystopian society. It can't exist with a dystopian society. That's why it has to be purged by fire. It says, this is an antonym of utopia, a term that was coined by Sir Thomas More and figures as the title of his best-known work, published in 1516, which created a blueprint for an ideal society with minimal crime, violence, and poverty. He's talking about the kingdom of heaven, man.
Yep.
When it says we'll be ruled with a rod of iron, it's talking about the kingdom. What did you click on there? What is that? What are you doing back there, producer?
Give me 1 second. I got something for you.
Oh, you got something for me?
Yep. Give me 1 second.
Can you leave
go
that
go
up
ahead,
while you do
and then
that?
I'll come back.
Thank you. He is interrupting the whole thing.
He's like, I don't care what you're
He said, listen, I know this is your show, but
I'm going to do me.
Goodness.
I'm going to look for what I want to look for.
One man,
All
by
right.
myself.
Officer 10 just, you know why, bro? He had that. I told him when we did the pre-recorded to put the show where he dropped that bomb, when he brought out the scripture about the land and everything like that with the prophecy. And
He said, yes, from the north, yes.
I think he got too gassed.
But he still waited. Then
Yeah,
he
right.
just like
Right. So what are you gonna show me?
Yeah, what's the build up to this?
What's the build up to this?
What's the build up to the interruption?
Can you introduce it since you're throwing us off here?
He got go fronts. Okay.
This is a documentary on Amazon Prime called Generational Wealth, and what you just said about Age of Decadence. This is a summary in this documentary on Amazon Prime. It's very good. I
So you
recommend
have to start
it.
at 118,
It's a lot of
or
weakness.
we're gonna watch the whole thing. The 2-4. It's a trailer. We're gonna watch the whole trailer.
We can if you want.
Does it?
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Does it
Yes.
add? Okay. So
Is it worth it?
All right.
Let me work it.
All right. They're
Producer. Scared, they're scared for them, yep.
Roll the footage then. Roll the footage.
Hours a week and never see my family. I work 100 hours a week and never see my family and die at an early age. That's my prerogative.
I would have money as big as this room. In case it...
Stop. That's decadence. Little children shouldn't be dressed like that.
Hell no.
The hell is this?
You come out the
Foul
room
ass
with
heathen with this stuff.
Right when you said stop it and commented, he was like, yes. Right?
Goodness.
He was validated.
Yes. He was validated now, right? Go ahead. Play it.
33 pounds
Look
of
at
gold
that.
and
Should be
diamonds
coming out the
given
room
to
with
me
that.
by superstars of the world.
I love money. Come to me.
I've been a photographer for 25 years, with my lens focused on wealth. I noticed that no matter how much people had, they still want more.
It's
lust.
I
It's
want
the
to
lust,
figure
man.
out why our obsession with wealth has grown. It seemed to be a shift in the American dream.
I know the names of the Kardashians better than I know the names of my neighbors.
This fictitious lifestyle fuels this sense of inadequacy.
I have the classic Birkin in almost every color.
The bags start 20,000, go up.
I realized wealth was much more than money. It was whatever gave us value. Fame, sex, even plastic surgery for dogs.
It's kind of like the end of Rome. Societies
Hey,
accrue
stop.
their
You heard him?
greatest wealth.
He said it's kind of like the end of Rome. You're going to have to run it back a few seconds because I want to finish what he's saying.
You did good, Spider.
You did good. You did good. You did good, producer. You did good over there, Shia. All right. You won't get the left and the right later. Okay. He said it's kind of like Rome. We were just reading when you read this decadence. It showed examples of Rome and its decline. Go ahead, read. Go ahead, play.
Societies,
said it.
It's kind of like the end of Rome. Societies accrue their greatest wealth at the moment that they face death.
If you look great and you have a nice car, I'm all for it. But at the expense of what?
You sell your soul to the devil.
You're so hungry for it, you're blinded.
I am on the FBI most wanted list. All of us are following a toxic dream.
If you think that money will buy you anything and everything, you've never, ever had money.
Dollars, dinero, money is what it takes.
Hey, I might have to check that out. I might have to check that out. You did good. He said, and it's interesting because when we read the article, we're going to read a little bit more about dystopia on this thing, and then we're going to read the article. That's exactly what the article is going into. And it says you get to a point where, like, what else can you accomplish? Like the accomplishments of science and medicine and everything, they don't even seem that great anymore.
Right.
And he said it's kind of like Rome, right, in its decline. And a society, when it's achieved and amassed its greatest wealth, right, or when you read in other things, it says its greatest accomplishments, there's nothing left after that. And then it's set up to dissolve.
Hey, Ashaya, that wouldn't have turned out so well for you, though, if you would have started at 118 like how you wanted to at first.
Yeah, that wasn't a good look. That wouldn't have been.
We saved you.
That wouldn't have been good. Let's go back to the articles. All right, you did good. You did good, kid. That was good. That was good. Dystopia. Let's see what else we got. Scroll down. Okay. So it says in his book, it created a blueprint for an ideal society with minimal crime, violence, and poverty. And then it says dystopias are often characterized by dehumanization. Are the Israelites not dehumanized in these last days? It's characterized. I'm showing you that this is a dystopia. Tyrannical governments. Trump. Environmental disaster. Right? They're talking about you see the weather and everything that it's really God allowing that stuff to happen, right? Or other characteristics associated with a cataclysmic decline in society. Dystopian societies appear in many fictional works and artistic representations, particularly in stories set in the future. Some of the most famous examples, it gives some Fahrenheit 451, 1984 was one. Dystopian societies appear in many subgenres of fiction and are often used to draw attention to society, environment, politics, economics, religion, psychology, ethics, science, or technology. Some authors use the term to refer to existing societies, many of which are or have been totalitarian states or societies in an advanced state of collapse. So you're thinking that you're seeing, they're talking about that they're going to bridge divides and they're going to do all this stuff. You are seeing, we are living and witnessing a society in collapse, in decline. And the thing is, most people who don't have this knowledge, who don't have these scriptures, don't realize it till the decline is complete. But we are living in it. You are witnessing it. All right. I think that's all I wanted on that. Let's jump to the opinion article. All right. And then we'll jump back to the scriptures in a little bit. So it says The Age of Decadence. This was an opinion piece in the New York Times. This was written in February of last year. It says, cut the drama. The real story of the West in the 21st century is one of stalemate and stagnation. Come on. Everyone knows that we live in a time of constant acceleration, of vertiginous change, of transformation, or looming disaster everywhere you look. Partisans are girding for civil war. You saw a piece of that today. Robots are coming for our jobs. And the news feels like a multi-car pileup every time you fire up Twitter. It does. Our pessimists see crisis everywhere. Our optimists insist that we're just anxious because the world is changing faster than our primitive ape brains can process. But what if the feeling of acceleration is an illusion, conjured by our expectations of perpetual progress and exaggerated by the distorting filter of the internet? What if we, or at least we in the developed world, in America and Europe and the Pacific Rim, really inhabit an era in which repetition is more the norm than invention? Let's read that in Ecclesiastes real quick, where he says there's nothing new under the sun. And I thought about that too. He says it's just repetition. There's nothing new. There's nothing groundbreaking. There's nothing so riveting. There's no new stories to tell. There's no new. How much further can we go with all this stuff?
You know, we always looked at this, right? Especially if you used to go to Disney World and stuff like that. You saw all the advancements in technology. Even they that ride the carousel of progress, even they stopped at a certain point.
Yep.
The last time I was there, which was a few years back, what for the last Passover, 2020, what was it? I think 2015. It was the same thing from when I went in the 70s.
Yeah, same stuff. Nothing new, nothing riveting. It's this illusion that they're so great.
Yeah.
There hasn't been, think about it. After the nuke, what have they done? Just bigger nukes. Right? Just bigger missiles, just faster ones. Nothing new. No new warfare.
What else could our cell phones do?
What else? Right. What else can you do?
I mean, really.
We have all the world's knowledge in our hand.
In your freaking pocket.
In your freaking pocket. What else is there? Go ahead. Read that real quick.
Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
That's what he just said here. We're in an era in which repetition is more the norm than invention, in which stalemate rather than revolution stamps our politics, in which sclerosis afflicts public institutions and private life alike, in which new developments in science, new exploratory projects consistently under-deliver. Go ahead, show full article. What if the meltdown at the Iowa caucuses, an antique system undone by pseudo-innovation and incompetence, was much more emblematic of our age than any great catastrophe or breakthrough? He's saying that the things that you see, that you are surprised that, for example, people were bugged out that toilet paper was a thing that you couldn't find, that food in this age, right? Because they were saying it's really a pseudo-famine because there was plenty of food. They were throwing out milk. transhumanism or extinction. Well, they're going to be extinct. We know that much.
No audio,
Right.
producer?
Sound went out. Someone just put good job, tech team, right before that because of the video. Now sound went out.
I got it back.
You got it back?
I want you back.
You know, he gives and he takes. The tech team gives,
Right.
and they take it away.
And doth take it. He doth take it away.
Hey, someone said like remaking Lion King, Milan, Coming to America, Birth of a Nation. Right, like movies too. They just redo them.
That's true.
Movies,
Yeah,
music,
right. Yeah,
everything.
Everything, man. Yeah.
They just redo 'em.
Clothing, Adidas up freaking back hard. Boomers.
Instead,
Shell top.
we are aging, comfortable and stuck, cut off from the past, and no longer optimistic about the future. I mean, we are. If you're an Israelite, you're
If you're an
optimistic about
Israelite,
the
right.
future.
Right,
I mean,
right.
you know, I'm pretty
No.
excited by
The
today's
future-
events.
The future's fantastic.
The future's so bright. I gotta wear shades. Boom. It says, and no longer optimistic about the future, spurning both memory and ambition while we await some saving innovation or revelation. Growing old unhappily together in the light of tiny screens.
That's good, bro.
The farther you get from that iPhone glow, the clearer it becomes. Our civilization has entered
This
into
guy hit it right on
decadence.
the money, man.
Dude, this is good, bro.
Bro,
Yeah.
it's hot fire, bro. It's all praise to the Most High, bro. That thing happened today, and I said, man, the captains are going to love today's show. I said, we're going to go
It was a shocker. Wasn't expecting it.
All right.
That's good.
The word decadence is used promiscuously, but rarely precisely. In political debates, it's associated with a lack of resolution in the face of threats. With Neville Chamberlain and W.B. Yeats' line about the best lacking all conviction. In the popular imagination, it's associated with sex and gluttony, with pornographic romances and chocolate strawberries. Aesthetically and intellectually, it hints at exhaustion, finality, the feeling at once oppressive and exalting of being the last in a series, just like the series of kingdoms that you read in Daniel 2. It says, in the words of the Russian poet,
Don't do it.
Vyacheslav Ivanov. But it's possible to distill a useful definition from all these associations. Following the footsteps of great cultural critic Jacques Bouzon, we can say that decadence refers to economic stagnation, institutional decay, and cultural and intellectual exhaustion at a high level of material prosperity and technological development. You should not have these things with this high level of material prosperity and technological development.
We have it.
But you have it. Just like we heard in the trailer, you accumulate your most wealth, you amass it right when you're at the pinnacle of your decline.
Just like we heard in the excellent trailer that was produced by Issachar.
That's crazy. At the pinnacle of your decline.
Yep. Under decadence, Bazrin wrote, the form of arts as of life seem exhausted. The stages of development have been run through. Institutions function painfully. Isn't that what you saw today with this assault on the Capitol? The way the democracy has been running? Institutions functioning, but painfully. Repetition and frustration are the intolerable result. Aren't we tired? They're not charging another guy that shot the guy in the back?
Yeah.
Yep.
From
it goes on and on with so many different things. It says it's an intolerable result. He added, when people accept futility and the absurd as normal,
that's now.
The culture is decadent.
That's now.
And crucially, the stagnation is often a consequence of previous development. The decadent society is by definition a victim of its own success. Note that this definition does not imply a definitive moral or aesthetic judgment. The term is not a slur, Bazrin wrote. It is a technical label, meaning don't be emotional about this. It is what it is, basically. It's a technical label. A society that generates a lot of bad movies need not be decadent. A society that makes the same movies over and over again might be.
That's what we're saying now.
A society run by the cruel and arrogant might not be decadent. A society where even the wise and good can't legislate might be. A crime-ridden society isn't necessarily decadent. A peaceable, aging, childless society beset by flares of nihilistic violence, looks closer to our definition. Aren't they saying that white people, they having less babies?
By a lot.
We keep multiplying, they having less by a lot.
And they can't figure it out.
That's decadence.
They've been saying that for years.
That's
man.
decadence.
Yep.
Nor this definition imply that decadence is necessarily an overture to a catastrophe. It is. We went over that when we brought out dystopian and stuff.
It is.
In which Viskov's torch Manhattan, or the coronavirus, has dominion over all. History isn't always a morality play, and decadence is a comfortable disease. The Chinese and Ottoman empires persisted for centuries under decadent conditions, and it was more than 400 years from Caligula to the actual fall of Rome. So he's letting you know, right? Though it tarry, wait for it.
That's right.
Right? What fascinates and terrifies us about the Roman Empire is not that it finally went smash, wrote W.H. Auden of that endless autumn, but rather that it managed to last for 4 centuries without creativity, warmth, or hope. Scroll down. I'm only going to read part 1. Whether we are waiting for Christians or barbarians, a renaissance or the singularity, the dilemma that Auden described is now not Rome's, but ours. And we are waiting for our renaissance, the Israelites' renaissance, to bring some things to fruition.
It's crazy, man.
Let me get Isaiah 30:1. Let's go into some scriptures. And captains, if you got something you want to say, just go right ahead.
I'm still trying to figure out that third thing.
Oh, gosh.
The third thing. The book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit.
Right. So this is talking about our people, right? And that's what this show is really for. Listen, you're going to have some scoffers, some gainsayers that might come into here. They may or may not be of our people. That's fine. I'm talking to you, you blacks, Hispanics, you natives, you children of the captivity, those of us who have been dehumanized throughout all our lives. Don't fall for the illusion of inclusion, right? I know, hey, some of us are very educated. We're doing a thing where we're trying to get people who have certain skills to help us with certain avenues in this truth. And, you know, we're looking, man, we have people with PhDs in the body because, you know, there's this assumption that if you're an Israelite, you must be a deadbeat with no job. This truth is powerful. And we have Joseph of Arimatheas. We have people in positions of authority, people with understanding, people that have skills to help us in the world, right? Friends of the mammon. So it's not that this is for dummies and stuff like that, but you got some of our people who won't hearken to this. And the Bible says, God says, woe to the rebellious children that take counsel, but not of me. In these times when you see this stuff, brothers and sisters, the reason we're going over all of this, it's always, and especially with me, if I break down any prophecy, if I bring out any dark sayings, as much as is in me to do, it's always going to revert back to what the reason for it is. And it's for us to put a sense of urgency under ourselves. The time is short. And that can mean whatever it means to you. It doesn't mean I can die, and Lord's will I die in this truth, and this kingdom could still be here. But it's still short.
And by the same token, get yourselves right because it could be gone tomorrow. We don't know.
That's the point.
That's the scary thing about it.
The point.
That you need to get yourself together, man, yourselves together, man, because things are moving quick.
Right. Hey, someone said volume, producer. I don't know what's going on back there with the sound and stuff. So it says, you cover with a covering, but not of my spirit. Right? For what reason?
That they may add sin to sin.
That's it, brothers and sisters. That's the only reason you want to follow after in this man, follow after his politics, follow after this world, is that you want to be able to add sin to sin. Come on.
That walk to go down into Egypt.
Because that's all that you find there. And this place is spiritually Egypt. Come on.
And have not asked at my mouth.
But we've still, through all this turmoil, we're still looking. I saw a thing today. They said, listen, Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, all this stuff, we came through. We came through. That's why the Democrats are running the Senate now. Yeah. That's why Biden's in office. They said, now it's time for you to do to us. Dummy. How about you ask at God's mouth? You don't want to because you like what this government and this place stands for. You like what this religion stands for.
Loves the decadence.
Because you love the decadence because it allows you to continue in your sin.
Yep.
This religion of democracy, this idolatry of democracy allows you to be who you want to be, and so that nobody can judge you. Got that stupid saying amongst our people, only God can judge me. Oh, he will surely judge your ass.
You speak truth.
Come on.
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh.
You strengthen yourselves in these false doctrines and these false narratives. I just read to you and we just broke down to you that if you do that, you are going into a crumbling house. You are putting your trust and your strength in something that's going to vanish away. The Bible says it's going to be like we woke up from a bad dream. You are choosing the wrong side. Come on.
And to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
Come on.
Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame.
That's going to be your shame. You are going to be burnt. You're going to be fuel for the fire. Come on.
And the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion.
And you are going to be more confused by all these things that come out. Jump to verse 5.
Verse 5. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be in help nor profit, but a shame, and also a reproach.
This is a people that will not profit you, brothers and sisters. We just showed you how in all this greatness that they supposedly have, it's a crumbling society. They cannot help you. It says need sound effects. Yeah, he has some sound effects at one point, but I don't know what's going on with him. Hold this. Actually, no, you could drop this. Let's get Isaiah 56 and 9 now. Isaiah 56 and 9.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 56 and verse 9. All ye beasts of the field, come to devour. Yea, all ye beasts in the forest.
Come on.
His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant.
You need to be, this is why I said you need to tune in. You need to like, share, not just us, not just our show, but anybody that's putting stuff out under the banner of Israel United in Christ, you need to share that thing because you have those of our own people who you put over yourself as watchmen, and they are blind, the Bible says. Come on.
They are all dumb dogs.
They are ignorant and they are all dumb dogs. Come on.
They cannot bark.
Why? Because we're supposed to prophesy against these nations, against these principalities, against these powers. And these pastors and preachers that may look like you, they out there in support of this decadent, dystopian society. Come on.
Sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber.
Because they sleep, because this place, that stagnation that comes with that decadence. Read on.
Yea, they are all greedy dogs, which can never have enough. And they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, every one for his gain, from his quarter.
The scripture says that we study not for ourselves only, that we're supposed to be here to help and be of service to our people, right? Christ also said that if you would be a servant to all, right, if you want to be great in the kingdom. And we're here to minister unto you, to bring these things so that our people can come to a form of repentance and not get caught up in all this BS, right? The reason I bring this stuff out is, listen, at the end of the day, they going to do what they're going to do. This thing shouldn't affect your mode one way or the other except to inspire you to light a fire under your behind, to go ahead and work on yourself, get yourself, walk more circumspectly, and do your best to let your light shine so that you can show out more.
Right, because it's seeing these things that come to pass that unfold in God's word that shouldn't scare you or sway you left or right, but it should strengthen your faith because it's the Bible that says, even though we haven't seen him with bodily eyes, we will have the faith and do the things which he had commanded us to do.
Right, exactly, absolutely. Read verse 12.
Verse 12. Come ye, say they, I will fetch wine and we will fill ourselves with strong drink, and tomorrow shall be this day, and much more abundant.
So these pastors, these people, if the scripture again tells you that the prophets of old, they prophesied of war, of the end of times, of destruction. If you have these pastors out here, and they're not, we know they're not, and they're certainly out there and they're telling you all this stuff, what they're really telling you, to drink that strong drink and fill themselves with wine is to fill themselves with the strength in themselves in the shadow of Egypt, like we read in Isaiah 30, that drunkenness of these doctrines. And they're saying, listen, it says, look your own way, everyone for his own gain, right? It says, because it says tomorrow shall be as this day, meaning they're not concerned with Christ coming as a thief in the night.
Nope.
as lightning striketh, like they said. They think that this place is going to continue forever. They have bought into it as well, and they out there trying to get their own. So they are comfortable with this stuff. The scripture tells us in Micah that this isn't our rest. Did I write that down here? Let me see if I put that down as a scripture. Let's get it real quick. Micah 2:10.
Freestyling.
Micah 2:10. That's the opposite of what verse 12 should be. This is what we're supposed to be preaching.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted.
This place is polluted. It's destined for destruction. We read in the article, it says it's inevitable when you see these signs that a society is about to fall.
That means decadent. Polluted
Decadent,
means decadent.
yes. Right, absolutely. Come on.
It shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction.
It will destroy you with a sword destruction. We started off where we said if a house is divided, it'll lead to desolation. If you're going to, that's why when you read in Isaiah 30, it said the strength of Pharaoh will be your shame because this place is polluted. That's decadence, like the captain brought out. That's what that's going into. Let's go back to Isaiah. Let's do 57 and verse 4.
Isaiah chapter 57 and verse 4. Against whom do ye sport yourselves? Against whom make ye a wide mouth and draw out the tongue? Are ye not children of transgression, a seed of falsehood?
It's basically reminding you, you doing this against the Most High God. Are you out your damn mind? You know, like when a kid, they'll draw their mouth. That's what he's talking about when he says you make your mouth wide and draw out the tongue. That you see a little kid, that type of stuff. The Most High says this type of behavior against this stuff, that's what that's going into. You looking at the screen when I did that? It's like my three. Go ahead, read.
Verse 5.
Come on.
Inflaming yourselves with idols under every green tree, slaying the children in the valley under the clefts of the rocks.
Right, because you're leading the Israelites to death and destruction if you preach anything contrary to what we're bringing out. Come on.
Among the smooth stones of the stream is thy portion. They are thy lot.
Right, because if you're on the smooth stones of the stream, what's that mean? You're going to slip and fall into the water, crack your head, and be carried away. Come on.
Even to them hast thou poured a drink offering. Thou hast offered a meat offering. Should I receive comfort in these?
He's saying that to this decadent society in the shadow of Egypt, he's likened your behavior in supporting it as if you're offering a drink offering to it and a meat offering to it.
You know what's heavy, Cap? Is that our people like tangible things, right? So they want to live in the shadow of Egypt because they get that immediate satisfaction of the sin, right?
Yep.
But even this man that's not spiritual at all knows that every kingdom has an expiration date. So even Esau's telling you, listen, we're in a decadence. This won't last forever.
Right.
So why would you not seek the Lord and get yourself right? It's
Right.
crazy. Our people are insane.
We need to run to that. So notice the Most High here likens our behavior with these other nations as a religious ceremonial thing. He says that it's like you doing a drink offering and offering a meat offering. He says, am I supposed to receive comfort in these? You're not doing this to me. You're doing this to these other nations, to this democracy. That's what you're trusting in. Now, 1 Maccabees 1 and 41, because he calls this democracy a religion. It's a religion. It's an idolatry that people are caught up in with these politics. 1 Maccabees 1 and 41.
1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and every one should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
And that's what you see now. That's what this is. And it's not just in the United States. A lot of times we just talk about the United States, but the whole world was commenting and watching this today. The whole world, I've brought this out before, they look to the elections here. We don't care about elections in other countries.
Nope.
We don't care about elected officials in other countries. People are here and they're rooting for their candidate here, even though they can't vote for him.
Our people here don't even know what those seats are called over there. Like,
No.
like they don't know they're called prime ministers.
Prime ministers, right,
Like-
or
like-
minister of this or
Yeah,
whatever they
right.
got
They don't know
going
those
on over
things.
there. No, they know our democracy inside and out. They're always looking to this place. Everybody has a global agenda. And if you happen to deviate from that, you get a Venezuela, you get a Cuba. You get sanctioned out the behind so that you become destitute and your people are impoverished, even though you have access to things that are wealth. Venezuela's rich in oil. Cuba had so much stuff as far as agriculture that they could have offered the world. And because they didn't want to play ball, they didn't want to do like what you read here, you're seeing the same kingdoms flowing. It's the same spirit through these kingdoms. And the one thing that all these kingdoms have in common is that they all fell. They all fell. And you think this one won't?
Yeah, right.
You think because there's some one world order? They were one world back then.
Hey, every major kingdom was wonderful.
Yes.
Every single kingdom was extraordinary. And they all fell.
Yep. Each and every one of them.
That's why Daniel's dream is very prophetic and is very deep. Okay, because every single major kingdom is described in that statue.
Yep.
Why? The feet ain't gonna fall. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. Read on.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
Like we read in Isaiah 57:6 about offering these offerings, like a drink offering and a meat offering to this. How do you do that? By subscribing to that stuff, voting for this candidate, aligning yourself with their views. You're saying you believe that stuff. It's like doctrine. It's doctrinal. It says, yeah, man, listen, you cannot reconcile yourself. There's a difference between living in this world, understanding that you're captive, and to obey the powers that be, and being an active participant in the politics. Social media is disgusting the way you see people going back and forth over this political stuff. It's terrible. It says he calls it a religion. Come on, and what does it say?
And sacrifice unto idols and profane the Sabbath.
Because that's what it leads to. Because they tell you that this is bad. They call evil good and good evil. And the good is this Bible, and they'll tell you that that's evil. They'll tell you you're an extremist BHI and this and that, and what the hell's wrong with you? Your own family will turn on you for this. But then they tell you that these politics and all this is good, and they'll follow it like it's church. I got family members that they'll watch every Trump news or whatever it is, rooting for all that stuff. People were cheering today what was happening. Supposed law enforcement supporters as they were attacking law enforcement in this stuff. Let's go back to Isaiah. We're going to come back to Maccabees. Go to Isaiah 56:6 again.
56:6?
I'm sorry, 57:6. I wrote it wrong.
Isaiah 57 verse 6. Among the smooth stones of the stream is thy portion. They are thy lot, even to them that has poured a drink offering.
So letting you know that it's a slippery slope, right? Smooth stones in a stream, you're going to slip and fall. And he's letting you know that that's what he likens this democracy like. That's what he likens this kingdom to. And he says that you have poured drink offerings to them. Come on.
Thou hast offered a meat offering. Should I receive comfort in these?
This is God. Should I receive comfort that you're following this religion like we read in Maccabees? Come on.
Upon a lofty and high mountain hast thou set thy bed. Even thither wentest thou up to offer sacrifice.
Right. So he says basically it's as if you're offering sacrifice when you follow these things. Come on.
Behind the doors also, and the post that thou hast set up thy remembrance. For thou hast discovered thyself to another than me.
Like we read in Isaiah 30, it says, they didn't look to my mouth, but you went to the mouth of Pharaoh. And here he says, you have discovered yourself to somebody. Instead of seeking God for hope, God put us in these conditions so that we can have a broken and contrite spirit so that we can call out to him. Not to these other nations, not to other governments, not to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and whoever else is in office. Democrat, Republican, whatever lie they tell you that they're aligned with. It says we should have done it to them, but no, we've called unto them. Come on.
And art gone up. Thou hast enlarged thy bed and made thee a covenant with them.
We made a covenant with them, and we're supposed to have a covenant with the Most High. He will be our God, and we shall be his people, if we do what he commands us to do with joyfulness and gladness of heart. But instead, we made a covenant with them. I am a Democrat. I am a Republican. I align with this view. I align with that view. Come on.
Thou lovest their bed where thou sawest it.
You love their bed. And it uses the bed because it likens her to like a harlot.
Right.
You want to lay down with all these different idolatries so that you can add sin to sin in this type of thing. Read on. We're going to read down to 13.
Verse 9. And thou wentest to the king with ointment, and didst increase thy perfumes, and didst send thy messengers far off, and didst debase thyself even unto hell.
This is why we are dehumanized. This is why you're in the conditions that you're in. It's because we went to them, we went to their kings, we anointed them. It says we debased ourselves to the point that our condition is hellish. We are royal people. We are above these people. We read earlier in Deuteronomy 6:4 that these commandments are our wisdom in the sight of the nations. It's our knowledge. And yet we go to them to seek their false religion of democracy. They're Christian, because with democracy comes Christianity right behind that.
Right.
And we went to them to seek that out. And our people are still within the midst of that today. I know some of you brothers and sisters that's watching this show have relatives who are caught up in that madness.
Hey, the Most High said, I'm going to go and return to my place, right? Until they acknowledge their offense. Our offense towards who? Towards him. So we can't go to somebody else other than God to get that forgiveness. It's crazy to think that we can go to our oppressor and then think that we can get forgiveness from God. That's not how it works.
No.
If you offend me, he can't tell me, oh, by the way, hey, Captain Joshua said he's sorry. That don't work like that.
Nope.
That has no value whatsoever
Nope.
because I didn't get it from the source itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Read on. Read on.
Verse 10, thou art wearied in the greatness of thy way.
You're wearied. It's not a refreshing of your spirit to be in this stuff. You're beat down when you're mixed up in this world and in its doctrines. It says you're wearied in your way. Come on.
Yet saidest thou not, there is no hope. Thou hast found the life of thine hand. Therefore, thou wast not grieved.
So that kind of goes with like in Hosea where it says strangers have devoured your strength and you know if it not. Yes, that's specifically talking to Northern Kingdom, but this is a rebuke to all Israel when you read that, and it's the same type of sentiment. Come on.
And of whom hast thou been afraid or feared, that thou hast lied and hast not remembered me, nor laid it to thy heart?
Because we're supposed to fear God, not men, not anything else. There's another scripture that tells you that the fear of the Lord is a clean fear. And it says, and who have we been afraid of or feared? We feared them instead of the Most High God. We feared the person that can destroy your flesh, but forgot about the one that can destroy your soul. Come on.
Have not I held my peace even of old, and thou fearest me not?
He says, hey, I actually basically, despite everything that's going on with y'all, I've held my peace a little bit. I haven't destroyed you off the face of the earth. It's another scripture that tells you he can make stones Israelites, but he hasn't done that. Why? Because he doesn't change. He doesn't lie. So he made a promise. He says, so shouldn't you fear somebody like that? Come on.
I will declare thy righteousness and thy works, for they shall not profit thee.
But he means is what you think is righteousness. I will declare your righteousness and your works, because you've chosen this democracy. You've chosen the strength of Pharaoh. You've chosen all the things of this world to be your righteousness. He goes, I will declare them, meaning you're going to see that all that was an error. Like we brought out, we're in a decadent time. When you sit in that judgment sheet, he's going to show you all that you did wrong. And that's when you're going to get them words, depart from me, I never knew you.
The coldest words ever uttered in history.
Depart from me, I never knew you. Come on.
When thou criest, let thy companies deliver thee.
He says, when you cry, let them deliver you then. Come on.
But the wind shall carry them all away.
Hey, the wind he's talking about is that whirlwind with the chariots coming. That's like that Wisdom of Solomon 5. He goes, when that pops off and you cry and you want, see, unlike Christianity that says in that last moment, you can ask for Christ and you'll be forgiven. You could be an evil Negro your whole life or Hispanic and think at that hour you're going to ask for forgiveness and make it. That's not what he says here. He says, let your companies deliver you. Let Joe Biden and anybody else that you stand for, let democracy deliver you in that day. He says, but the wind's going to carry them away. Come on.
Biden going to be hiding.
Right. Come on.
Vanity shall take them.
Why? Because all, like Solomon said, vanity of vanities. All life is vanity. This short time that we're here in this earth, right? And that's all vanity. Something that's vanity means it's going to pass away. Come on.
But he that putteth his trust in me shall possess the land, and shall inherit my holy mountain.
If we put our trust in the Most High God, we will possess the land and inherit his holy mountain. Let me get Daniel 2:44.
The book of Daniel, chapter 2, and verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom.
It's telling you that the kingdom of heaven, it's starting to be built now. It says in the days of these kings shall that be set up, right? The kingdom of heaven cometh not by observation, the scriptures tell you. All these things that we're doing now as we gather ourselves together, the nation not desired, that's the foundation of setting up this kingdom in the midst of them, in front of their eyes. Come on.
Which shall never be destroyed.
The kingdom of heaven will not be a decadent kingdom. It's going to be that utopia like we brought out. It'll never be destroyed. Come on.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
It's not going to be. See, with the vision in Daniel, each of those kingdoms was picked up by another heathen nation to carry the banner and the standard.
That's right.
That's not going to happen with the kingdom of heaven. Christ is going to reign forever in there. And if we're so blessed and fortunate to do what he requires, we will be joint heirs with him in that. And it will not be left to other nations. Is that in that verse?
Nope. But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
It will break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, meaning it's going to be wiped. All that Constitution, Bill of Rights, all that stuff, the Bible will be our Constitution. That's going to be the governing laws of the land. What were you going to say, Ken?
Right, there's no other book after Revelation.
No, that's it.
And when that ends, it says that the 12 gates will be opened, and we will go in there and we will rule. So,
every kingdom was a conglomerate of the kingdom before it, right?
Yep.
They took all these practices and things that worked against God's anointing and things like that. But that's why it says that he's going to break it, because Christ himself said, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, meaning his will's not being done now. So he has to smash everything in order to set up his kingdom here.
Hey, I'm glad you circled that, Issachar. Because, look at Jake right there. No, not only her. You got the brother there. I don't know. He may be Arab or Northern Kingdom right there. Yeah. Yep. The sister right here. She look like she Northern Kingdom to the left. No, to the left.
Those people ain't going to make it.
No, the big girl. Yeah, right there. That one right there. Okay. I'm sure there's some in the back over there holding that flag proud.
Dang.
Right. Let me show you something. Because like I said, if we run a little over, that's fine. We started a little late. I'm gonna drop some of this stuff that I was going over. We can deal with that a little bit later.
Fighting each other. Can't even throw a punch.
Let me get go back to the picture with the snake flag. And it was one of the first ones in the article, the Gadsden flag. And you might see Edomites running around with this, right? Okay, so it was the very first one with the flags when they're rushing. There we go. So over here to the right, you got that yellow flag, right? And with the rattlesnake, and it says, "Don't tread on me," right? Let me show you something real quick that's talking about this nation here. So let's get that Gadsden flag. Okay, there we go. So the Gadsden flag is a historical American flag with a yellow field depicting a timber rattlesnake, coiled and ready to strike. Beneath the rattlesnake are the words, "Don't tread on me." Some modern versions of the flag include an apostrophe. The flag is named after American general and politician Christopher Gadsden, who designed it in 1775 during the American Revolution. It was used by the Continental Marines as an early model flag, along with the Moultrie flag. It is often used in the United States as a symbol for gun rights, American patriotism. Remember what Ivanka said about those American patriots?
Mm-hmm.
Individual liberties and disagreement with government intervention. Now, that's dog whistle stuff that she was putting out there. That wasn't a mistake that she called them American patriots. It tells you that this flag is associated with that. And what did you see those rioters and insurrectionists doing? They were going in there, those terrorists going in there with that flag. Scroll down. Keep going. All right. The timber rattlesnake can be found in the area of the original 13 colonies. Its use as a symbol of the American colonies can be traced back to the publication of Benjamin Franklin. In 1751, he made the first reference to the rattlesnake in a satirical commentary published in his Pennsylvania Gazette. It had been the policy of Parliament to send convicted criminals
there it is.
to the Americas, primarily Georgia. So the Parliament of Britain, it was that. Remember, I said earlier, I wasn't sure where I had it in one of these things I read. It was their policy to send convicted criminals to the Americas, primarily Georgia. I'm going to show you some stuff in a second. That it's no coincidence that they chose this snake and why it's mentioned there. That this Esau's tongue falling upon himself with this stuff. So Franklin suggested that they thank them by sending rattlesnakes to Britain. Right, so they, you would buy into this and you'd be like, ha, 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 he sent snakes back. No. In 1754, during the French and Indian War, Franklin published his famous woodcut of a snake cut into 8 sections. All right, it represented the colonies, with New England joined together as the head and South Carolina as the tail, following their order along the coast. Under the snake was the message "Join or die." Let me get that in 2 Maccabees 6:6 about upon pain of death. If you didn't,
2 Maccabees chapter 6 verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
To show you that this is an extension of Greece and Rome with that same thing, join or die. Basically, be American, fall in line with what's going on here, right? Or die. So it wasn't lawful for our people at one time.
Don't we get to the point? Verse 9?
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 9. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manner of the Gentiles.
And if you don't follow after this, come on.
Should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery.
Join or die. Be like us or drop dead. It's not coincidence that he chose that as a slogan. It says this was the first political cartoon published in an American newspaper. As the American colonies came to identify more with their own communities and the concept of independence, rather than as part of a larger polity that was either unwilling or unable to defend their interests, icons that were unique to the Americas became increasingly popular. The rattlesnake, like the bald eagle, and the stereotype, I would say, of the Native American came to symbolize American ideals and society. And if I'm not mistaken, Rome also used the snake also like some sort of viper as well. So you'll see the themes between these things. It's always a snake and an eagle, a snake and a falcon, something along those lines. Now, I want the little excerpt to the side. So, yep, that's it. So this is Benjamin Franklin, and he was explaining why he chose the rattlesnake. Right? Because snakes are not things to be admired.
Yeah, right.
It says, I recollected that her eye excelled in brightness. He's talking about how he looked at the snake. So it shows you how Edom's attracted to that stuff. That excelled in brightness, that of any other animal, and that she has no eyelids. She may therefore be esteemed an emblem of vigilance. She never begins an attack, nor when once engaged ever surrenders. She is therefore an emblem of magnanimity and true courage. As if anxious to prevent all pretensions of quarreling with her, the weapons with which nature has furnished her, she conceals in the roof of her mouth, so that to those who are unacquainted with her, she appears to be a most defenseless animal. And even when those weapons are shown and extended for her defense, he's talking about the fangs that come out, they appear weak and contemptible. But their wounds, however small, are decisive and fatal. Conscious of this, she never wounds till she has generously given notice, even to her enemy, and cautioned him against the danger of stepping on her. Was I wrong, sir, in thinking this a strong picture of the temper and conduct of America?
That's an Edomite for you. That's the description of an Edomite.
That's the description of an Edomite. And so I thought, let me get Psalms 64:6. When he says the eye, she has no eyelids, and she's ever vigilant.
Yeah, they always alert. They always see everything.
Psalm 64:6.
The book of Psalms, chapter 64 and verse 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search.
The eyes always open, ever vigilant, searching out evil to do. It says they accomplish a diligent search. Come on.
Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
Jump to verse 2. We're going to read 2 through 7.
Verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword.
Notice, right? So it says whet. That's like a whetstone that you use to sharpen a sword. It says they sharpen their tongue like a sword. Come on.
And bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Because they use their democracy, they use their politics, they use their policy and patience to overcome. Come on.
That they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
We are the perfect. It says they do that so that they can secretly, because they can't, if they acknowledge that we're the enemy, because Captain Naparian said in the beginning of the show that you got to realize everything that's done in this earth is about us, right? And then I said, life is the story of Israel. It's all for us, by us, right? Everything revolves around us. But they can't say that because by that admission, they give us credence. And you can't do that. So they rather make us base things. So they craft these things. Just like a sneaky snake, Like you read Benjamin Franklin. He was in love with the way. It was like a love song that we just read, a poetry, a love letter to a snake.
Right, because he said how he felt when he looked at it. This is what he saw.
Yeah.
So you don't go into detail like that unless you're enamored.
Yes.
With the object that you're describing.
And we proved what his mind was like, just like the Greeks and the Romans, because he put the slogan "Join or Die." So we letting you know that he knew who he was emulating. Come on.
Suddenly they do shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them?
Remember, he said, hey, we give them warning and everything, and we look like we're feeble, we're not weak, right? And they say, who seeth me? Hold this, get Micah 2. Let's read 1 and 2.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
Come on.
When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand.
Right, we just read, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They do it when it's daylight. Because why? They've crafted their words, they've crafted their tongues so that they can do things openly. They can do their secret agenda openly.
And they practice it.
And they practice it, and nobody sees it. And how do they practice it? The Tuskegee experiments, the sterilization of our people, all the different eugenics platforms that they put out there. They try things, they put agent provocateurs in organizations, all the different levels of crafty counsel that they put out. Come on.
They covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away.
Right, so they sneak up on you, and before it's too late, you realize that it's done on there. Come on.
So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
Why? Because they oppress our heritage. Through all their devices, they're not, you guys aren't the Israelites, you're black extremists. You're black Hebrew Israelites. So if they do allow themselves to call us Israelites at all, they have to put disqualifiers in front of it.
Right.
So we can't just be the Israelites. We got to be Hebrew Israelites or black Hebrew Israelites. And that's the type of disinformation they put out. Let's go back to Psalm 64. Read 5 again.
Psalm 64, verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
There's a reason they picked that snake. Like he said, no eyelids, ever vigilant. All the characteristics, right? And we're going to read the last line of that love letter to the snake again in a minute. Read verse 7.
But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded.
It says, but hey, there's some good news at the end of it. It says, God's going to shoot at them with an arrow, and suddenly they shall be wounded. Let's get Zechariah 9 and 13. I'm going to show you 9, 13, and 14 what that arrow is. Because we were reading earlier how it says that the kingdom of heaven is going to begin to be established when these kings are ruling. And that's us shooting back with this spiritual warfare, fighting against wickedness and principalities in high places. Come on.
Zechariah 9, verse 13. When I have bent Judah for me.
Right? He's describing making a weapon, making a bow. So he says he's going to bend Judah and make Judah the bow. Come on.
Filled the bow with Ephraim.
So he said he's going to bend Judah for him, and then he calls it a bow. So when you take a bow and you craft a bow, you take a flexible, strong piece of wood, right? And you bend it so that you can put the string so that you can create that tension. And then he says the arrows are going to be Ephraim. He said he's going to fill the bow with Ephraim. Northern and southern kingdom coming together to shoot back, like we just read in Psalm 64. Come on.
And raised up thy sons, O Zion.
And raise up thy sons. We must unite as one people. And that's part of that establishment of that kingdom that'll never end and be put off to anybody else. Read on.
Against thy sons, O Greece.
Against thy sons, O Greece. Letting you know the spirit that they're rolling in. They call them Egypt. They call them Greece. They call them Assyria. They call them Babylon. Meaning it's that same spirit through all those empires. Come on.
And made thee as the sword of a mighty man. And the Lord shall be seen over them.
Right. And it says, and it made us as the sword of a mighty man. Not that our fight is physical, but it says these scriptures are like a two-edged sword that cuts asunder even to the bone and marrow, discerning the spirits. Letting you know if you're for God or you're for this evil nation, this decadent dystopian society that's going down. Was that it on 14?
Nope. And the Lord shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning. And the Lord God shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south.
Right, because we're building the foundation of that so that we can build to that, so that when Christ and all the angels return, that's when we read Psalm 64:7, it says, God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. Because it's going to be too late for them by the time that thing comes out and we come out against that. Let me show you another thing about this, man. Let me get, where is it where it says, I think it's Revelation 12, right? Where it says that old serpent.
Yep.
Yeah, another thing where it's talking about that snake. I said, damn, they just telling on themselves all the time.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan.
That's talking about what we just read. Ben Franklin was talking about that stuff that we just read. Go back to the thing that we read, his excerpt, his love letter. Look at what he said. Was I wrong, sir, in thinking this a strong picture of the temper and conduct of America? He said it, not me. It's talking about America. He's telling you he chose the snake. See, they put the eagle in front of you so to put you to sleep. But they know they're using that snake for a reason. Read that verse again.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan.
Like Christ said, Satan casting out Satan. Come on.
Which deceiveth the whole world.
They deceive the whole world. By why? Oppressing our heritage, by putting up fake people that are imposters in our land, and suppressing a man and his heritage with all his crafty evilness. Come on.
Hey, Cap. He wrote that in 1751, right? So in Psalms earlier we read that their inward thought is their house will last forever.
Yep.
So it was always meant to be that America would have the attributes of a snake.
Yep.
It was never meant to be amendments and ratifications, any laws to help us be pilfered up as a people and be equal. It was never meant to be like that.
Nope.
America was always meant to be this.
Remember,
snake.
it says the thoughts of them are deep. He does a diligent search, that they search out iniquities. They said, damn, the Constitution backs us into a corner. Nope. Let's do amendments.
Yep.
Let's do Voting Acts rights. Let's do Bill of Rights.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we'll still be able to retain the apparent integrity of these things and still meet our agenda. Go ahead, Cap.
Hey, check this. Yeah, there you go. Boy, you're in the spirit today, man. You rolling with me, bro. All right. It says the rattlesnake was a good symbol for the American spirit.
It's
that goes with
spiritual.
her Beckett, man. Their spirit is not right.
Their spirit is
in
not
them.
upright in them. That all praises.
Because like I said, right, a snake won't attack you unless it's attacked. But when it does, it don't stop.
Yep. Hey, read on. It says the rattlesnake symbol was first officially adopted by the Continental Congress in 1778 when it approved design for the official seal of the War Office.
Of the War Office. War was in their heart.
It lets you know, I don't want to spend too much more time on this because we're a little bit over. It lets you know in here later as you read it, if you guys want to read this, there's on Wiki about the Gadsden flag, that the original flag was not the Stars and Stripes, it was the snake. The Gadsden flag was the national flag before it became what you see, the red, white, and blue stripes right now. The yellow flag, they chose that as their flag. But in their craftiness, they said, nah, you know what?
Yep.
We got to keep this subtle because the Bible.
Yeah. We got to be under the guise that we under Christianity.
Right. Yeah, because they tell you Ben Franklin was like a heavy Mason. And I don't mean the fake Mason stuff now.
No.
Anybody being a 33rd degree. These are legit. You know what I'm saying? Right, because you get like Pablo who works at Office Mac as the general manager. And he's like, yeah, I'm a 33rd.
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't want to go there.
Right. Ben Franklin was legit part of those people that were into all that stuff.
Yo, the Masons that they say were from 1717, man. That was around their time, man. They created that thing, bro.
Yeah,
right. Read that verse again.
Revelation 12 and verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out in the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Right, his angels mean it's just his people that work with him. Him and all the people that are confederate with him. Right?
You say you want Pablo working at Pop Copy?
You weren't Pablo working at Pop Copy. Hey, let me go to Genesis 3 and read 1. So you can read about the characteristics. And he knew it. He said this embodies the American spirit.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
The serpent was subtle, right? Letting you know. Remember, he was exalting the snake, talking about.
Franklin said the same thing.
Yes. Yep.
And not the same words, but he said the same exact thing.
Exactly. Come on.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Right. Jump to where he says, that thou surely shalt not die. Verse 4.
Verse 4. And the serpent said to the woman, Ye shall not surely die.
Well, hey, that's the same way he rolls with us. If you follow our politics, you're not going to die. You don't got to do what that Bible says. That's not what white Jesus says.
Christ came and said that the commandments were done away with.
You don't got to do none of that
That
stuff.
you got grace.
You quite all right. Hey, what is it? Genesis 4, is it 12, where he calls him a fugitive? Remember how it said that,
Verse 14.
14, where it said that their policy was to send criminals over here, and those criminals became leaders, and they became the people who wrote the Constitution and these laws. Come on, read that.
Genesis chapter 4, verse 14.
Because that spirit of Cain is the same spirit, that American spirit, that's in all these people here, that's in Edom today. Come on.
Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth.
Yeah, when he says from thy face thou shall be hid, that also goes with, that makes me think of where it says, what have you to do with my statutes and commandments? That's not for you, right? That has nothing, I have nothing to do with you. I'm not your God, right? He says, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. It's letting you know that these people who built this dystopian society that's in this age of decadence is a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. All right. I don't need the rest of that. That's all I wanted on that. You got to understand something. We need to build our foundation on Christ and on these scriptures, brothers and sisters. That's why I'm bringing this stuff out. That's why we're talking about what happened in the cap. You need to see that with spiritual eyes. We shouldn't be looking at that and go, oh my God, what an atrocity that this happened. Oh my God, what a travesty, all this other stuff, right? Listen, we're not into people dying and recklessness and all that stuff like that. There was a woman that died and all that stuff, but life and death is of the Most High.
She
all
got
right?
shot in the mouth.
Right. We're not sitting there publicly relishing that or anything like that. But understand that when we see that stuff, it should inspire in you, especially based on the scriptures and stuff that's coming out, a sense of joyfulness to turn to these scriptures. Let's get Matthew 7:24.
The book of St. Matthew, chapter 7 and verse 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them, I will liken them unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock.
We cannot build our house in the strength of Pharaoh. We cannot build our house on a decadent society that's in its downfall in its last days. Come on.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house. And it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock.
We need to build our foundation on Christ with these laws, statutes, and commandments as Israelites. Read on.
And every one that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a fool, a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand.
That's what this country is built on, with that American spirit, with that rattlesnake mentality. This country is like if you built a house upon sand. You built your values and your morals based on this. Come on.
And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it.
Great desolation. Satan casting out Satan. Great is the fall of this place is going to be. Like the picture where they were showing the brother and the sister in the midst of that stuff with those Trump support. It's not even Trump. You could support Biden or whatever. It's supporting this government, this world, the things that it stands for. It says that will be your downfall. Let me do two more scriptures. Let me read that Daniel 2:44 again, and then I want Hebrews 12:28.
Hey, and where he's getting that, the floods and the rain.
Daniel 2 verse. No, I'm just kidding.
Why?
The rain and the floods, that's talking about the trials and tribulations. So if you're not focused, if you're focused on everything going on around you, okay, and not focused on getting yourselves right and making your calling and election sure, this is what's gonna. This is exactly what's gonna happen. This is what Christ is talking about there. Okay, that's gonna come. All the trials, tribulations are gonna come, and you're not gonna withstand them.
Right? Exactly. I'm glad you went into that. I'm kind of like in rush mode because I want to close out, but you're right. You're right. All praises. Go ahead. Read that real quick.
The book of Daniel 2 verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom.
We need to build our foundation on that rock, which is Christ. We are building in the days of these kings. We're setting up a kingdom. God through us is setting up a kingdom. Come on.
Which shall never be destroyed.
We're not going to succumb to that decadence. Come on.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
It's ours, not yours. I ain't sharing with you. Nobody's going to force me to be, no, well, that's not right. That's not politically correct. It's mine. Mine.
And y'all ain't getting no stimmies either.
No stimmies for y'all.
Give me my stimmy.
Come on.
But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
Forever, ever? Forever, ever? Hebrews 12:28. Hebrews 12:28. Hebrews.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 28. Wherefore we receiving a kingdom which cannot be moved.
We, brothers and sisters, if we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, do what's required of us, we will be, that's the heir, that's the heritage that's given unto us, the inheritance. That's why it says we receiving a kingdom which cannot be moved. Or every kingdom that this earth has modeled itself after has fallen, has went into decadence, has become dystopian. Ours is not. It will not be moved. Come on.
Let us have grace, whereby we may serve God acceptably with reverence and godly fear.
That's why we bring this stuff out. You must serve God acceptably with reverence and godly fear, that clean fear, so that we can obtain that kingdom that will not be moved. I can't wait. That's why I saw what I saw today, and I was excited. Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, I just want to close with 2020 was a prelude to 2021. All right?
Yep.
You ain't seen nothing. If you thought 2020, that was nothing.
Ain't seen nothing yet.
You ain't seen nothing yet. All right? So that's why the scripture says watch and pray. All right? Watch and pray that the Most High God has mercy on you and your house. All right? And that you make your calling and election sure. That's what you should be praying for every single day, because it's about to get real, man.
Yeah.
Okay? I ain't saying end times. We are in the end times. I ain't saying Christ come, but it's going to get real.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. The time of trouble and tribulation, that thing is in full swing.
It's in full swing. Remember, it says the beginning of sorrows.
Right. Hey, and remember, like, because I know Cap always likes to bring out the labor pains. Sometimes there's a low, and it's a long one.
Yeah.
It might be hours. So don't be fooled if there's some seeming prosperity in 2021. They're lining it up for, COVID's gone. Just as mysterious as it came is going to vanish. They're going to give credence to the marvel of, they're already saying it. Oh, look at how fast this vaccine came to fruition and all this other stuff. And they're going to puff themselves up to make you think that things are good. Yep. But understand, this thing is decadence. Based on all the stuff we made out, we are in the age of decadence. Do not be fooled. Do not be fooled.
Just make your calling and election sure, man. That's conclusion of the whole matter, according to Ecclesiastes 12:13, is fear God and keep the commandments, man.
That's right.
Fear God and keep the commandments.
Fear God and keep them.
Hey, brothers and sisters, thank you for tuning in. All right, continue to like and share. Hey, I think we might have some of the highest views that we've had on the show tonight. Looking at that just right there.
I will tell you the final
202. Right. So, make sure that you support the show. We the show says we go over Native, Latin, and Black biblical topics, right? And that means anything is game, right? We do, because, like I said, life is about the Israelites.
That's right.
Anything going on in the world is about the Israelites.
Right.
We're probably gonna jump back a little bit to more of the history stuff and things like that, but we go over a lot of stuff. Those of us who have been fans of the Saturday slot where we just do 1 hour, we go through a multitude of different things, different articles and stuff like that. And I've always said it, whenever the news, something is strong enough that it needs to be addressed, the Spirit will guide us to address that thing on the show, and we'll bring that out. But you're gonna get history, you're gonna get a little bit of prophecy. That's not necessarily my forte. When the Most High reveals stuff, He reveals stuff.
Hey, shout out Deacon Yawasab. Shalom.
Yay! Oh, he's on there.
Yeah.
Hey,
came late, but he came.
Oh, all right. No, but he'll watch it. The Deke gonna watch it.
He'll watch the replay.
Yeah, I know Deke will watch the replay. Yeah, he be watching. He be hitting some things. You know why? He sent me a video the other day that he said might be a good talking point too. I didn't get to check it out yet, but let me know what you think of the show, Deke, when you get the whole run up to it. I know when we speak, you'll share some thoughts.
All praises, Paul Holden. Yes, all praises.
All praises to the Most High God. So yes, please continue to support, like, subscribe to. We got the Facebook page at the Lost 144K. We have this on IUIC Phoenix. Hit the bell, so when videos come up, you can see what's coming out of here. and continue to support. All right, share and so on. So
Black and Comely, shalom. Thank you.
So shalom to everybody. All right, y'all have a good night. Hey, stay safe out there, man, because
Right.
these heathen, man, you know, they're not getting their way, and they're gonna want to take it out on our people. So be mindful out there, be alert, be safe. I'm not saying walk around in fear. I'm just telling you to be sharp. All right, we know the Most High got our back. So, all right. So with that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Israel is back. We back. Israel is running scared because Israel is back. All lies on us because we keeping them laws. When the Lord will return, Babylon will fall. Precepts solid. We got them on lock. God's chosen people with Christ as our rock. Israel is back. We back. Israel is back. We back. You heathen, get ready for our whip to crack.